What is going on, everybody in the chat and the YouTubeverse? Hope you're doing well. Marty here, another episode of Metallurgy number 186, and flanking me on my, well, everybody's right, is the beautiful and talented Alan. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. It's been a busy week, but everyone's kind of in a hurry to get out of town early for Thanksgiving, which is next week. But yeah, seems like a lot of folks are maybe going to turn that into an extended holiday. So I'm hoping next week will be pretty quiet. We shall see.
We shall see. And we just want to get it out there, a little public service announcement before we get into today's episode. I don't know if you're on the internet, if you're on Facebook, you may have seen the news, but our friend, a friend of mine, mentor to me, Jeff Wagner, he and his wife had a fire. Their house burned down.
Yeah, complete
2 days ago. Complete loss. They've lost all their stuff. They lost 3 animals in the fire. Lost all their clothing. A massive record collection.
Yeah, I mean, they basically got out with their phones and a couple of pets and not much else.
That was it. Yep. And, you know, if you've read Metal Maniacs over the years or any of his books or listened to Radical Research podcast, if he's giving you something, in entertainment, enjoyment, information, the link is in the description. Please go donate to their GoFundMe page, which is kicking ass, and really, really proud of the metal community. Cheers. I was talking to him today and he's just blown away. He can't believe how many people he don't even know is donating on there, but they're doing really well, but they have to rebuild from scratch. So
yeah, if
anybody was thinking about giving a super chat tonight, please just click the link in the description and go give it to Jeff.
Yeah. No super chats. No super chats for us tonight. If you've got money for us, please just use the GoFundMe link and give it to Jeff and his wife, because they've one of the animals that was saved also needs emergency treatment. It was rescued, but it was kind of injured in the fire, so they also are going to have a vet bill trying to make sure that animal's okay. So yeah, please just direct some money if you can spare some money. That is great. If you can't, we understand it's not easy these days, and holiday season is not a great time for folks having extra cash, but anything that you could donate would definitely help them out a lot. Jeff's been a big pillar of the heavy metal community and the prog community for decades, with his books, with Metal Maniacs. He had the Voivod book coming out in the very near future. So if folks can help him out, that would be awesome.
Yep. We love you, Jeff and fam. And hopefully the empire is rebuilt. I've already, put myself on the front lines for his album rebuilding. I'm one of the mercenaries in that. I'm sure Alan will be helping out too, but he said hopefully in a couple months he can start rebuilding the empire. So here we go. But anyway, end of the spiel there. Please go check the link in the description. I'll probably be mentioning it again on Wednesday's episode as well. But let's get going with, before we bring out
appreciate it.
Yeah. Before we bring out the ever charming and attractive barbecutioner, we will get going with this thing. I don't have it set up again because I'm just so excited. I forgot. Okay, here we go. New releases, November 22nd, Friday. We've got, here we go, 10,000 Years, All Quiet on the Final Frontier on Ripple. Crossbones Scully, Evil World Machine on Better Noise. Defeated Sanity, Chronicles of Lunacy on Season of Mist. No, I'm thinking of a different band. Next up, Distant, Tsukuyomi, The Origin on Century Media. Gutless, High Impact Violence on Dark Descent Records. And then there's a bunch of reissues. In fact, I cut a bunch of them out because there was a bunch of bands I never heard of. But reissue, Hail of Bullets, the self-titled EP re-release on Agonia. Judas Priest, Rock'n'Rolla 50th Anniversary Edition on Exciter. 50. Oh, my God.
50. Yeah. That's not a 40. That's a 50.
That's a 50. King Crown, Nova Atlantis on Rock Shots. Marillion, The Strange Engine re-release on Ear Music. Myrrh, which I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. It's a self-titled album on Century Media. Aren't those a fine, well-groomed looking bunch of kids? They're just good-looking dudes. Opeth, The Last Will and Testament on Reigning Phoenix. Sunstorm, Restless Fight on Frontiers. Tigers of Pantang, Animal Instinct re-release on Mighty. And lastly, we have Xandria, Universal Tales EP on Napalm Records. Look at that fantastic Photoshop artwork. But without further ado, we need to get this handsome devil in here. It's been too long. Returning, Phillip.
There he is.
The barbecutioner. Welcome back there, eh?
Thanks a lot, eh? We're going to have a great fucking time tonight, I can tell you.
He's got his toque on. He's got his moose head. He's ready. He's ready.
Many schlubs and zools know they're meant to be roasted in the depths of the floor that day, I can tell you.
Yeah. How you been, man? What's been going on?
Well, you know, just starting off tonight and hearing about that about Jeff, that hits a little bit too close to home for me.
You just had that conversation a month ago.
Just a few months ago, yep.
Yeah, and what a feeling of absolute dread. You know what I mean? Besides, like, you know, the family, which is number one. I don't need to even say that. But, like, just everything you've worked up to your whole life, everything, you know.
A lifetime worth of collecting, curating a collection. Yep.
Yeah.
Gone.
So it's, and the idea of, like, rebuilding. And if I'm not trying to depress them or depress anyone, but it's daunting out there now trying to, like, find this stuff, you know? And I'm assuming he had a lot of, like, probably OG shit too, right? So.
Oh, yeah.
That's hard.
You know it. Yeah. It's hard. But
like I always say, man, like, you'll be free.
It's true. There's a feeling of, I don't have to, you know.
Yeah. You can live a normal life now. You know.
I've been kind of going through this a little bit. I haven't been buying much because I just, what's the point? I'm kind of hit that what's the point feeling right now, just because I never have time to sit and listen to it. I don't know. It's one of those things. But what's been going on in Chromium Dioxide Radio Land? It's the wheels are back on the machine. It's rolling down the road. It's lighting up on fire. What's going on? What's been happening in the world? Bring people up to speed and tell them why they need to watch this amazing fucking channel.
Well, look, if they don't know it by now, I mean, here in Canada, I can't even go to the local, you know, Walmart shop without being recognized.
Clearly.
And any more fame than that, I don't know if I want it. The young women slipping me their phone numbers and, you know, but I know they're only in it for the collection. You know what I mean? So it's something that I don't want to have to deal with. So I'm fine if nobody watches. I will say, though, to the people that watch Gas Masks and Hand Grenades, or was that on Rick's channel? That'll tell you the state of mind I was in.
That was on Rick's channel. It was off the rails.
I would go as far as to say that I was the drunkest man in North America, and that's you know,
top 5 at least top 5. Yeah.
Well, I couldn't get on the channel. You know, Jeff sent me a link, and you know, at this point, I told you I was a bottle in, and I mean, fucking heavy bottle of liquor, right? Bottle of bubbly, right? Just giving it, trying to get on the show. And by the time I did get on, man, I was feeling fine. Okay. That was a fun stream. Yeah, sure. I thought I was going to, like I told you, I thought I was going to have to check myself into like a clinic or something, because I got up and didn't feel that bad. Something like that, you need to have like a biblical punishment.
There needs to be retribution for that.
You make up your, you know, you make up for it, and you think about, you know, and I didn't. I felt great. And I was like, man, I can't wait for tonight. Analog Archives, he just disappeared. He gave the old fuck you slip out the back door. Like, he's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Was I that
He used you as a distraction. He used you as a distraction. He exited while you were doing your song and dance that you were doing there.
Yeah. I turned into like really like late 80s David Lee Roth. I think no one could speak, and I was like,
It's already happening, folks. It's already happening.
Fucking duct tape didn't work.
You think all those views and stuff, you'd have a budget to get new headphones?
Yeah, but I don't want to change me.
Oh, okay.
I gotta switch to Switch
God,
to
wardrobe changes already. What kind of show are we getting into here?
Oh,
This is
I got
crazy.
myself a little hockey hat, little buffalo, which is practically Canada.
But yeah, getting back to the show. Big plans. What's happening? What can people expect and tune in for? I mean, you just put out a couple new episodes here.
Yeah, we're
relatively close together, which was awesome.
Yeah. And so then we're going to have another normal episode here in the set. And then after that, we're going to the new set, which is a fully, I'm not going to say fully functional, but it's a pretty big spaceship set that I've been working on for about 2 years. I can't tell you the amount of dishwashers, stereos and VHS people have donated to me, and they're like, "Hey, are you that garbage guy?" And I think I'm going to be on. I think I'm going to be on Hoarders or something. Right?
That's why you're famous at Walmart. They're like, "Hey, there's the guy that takes our shit, eh?"
Yeah, having the store detective follow you around isn't quite the level of fame you might be aiming for.
I'm telling you now, I have seen the insides of so much dated analog equipment that I think I could actually repair them now and open up my own shop.
There you go.
But yeah, pieces like this is insanity. Like my son's friend was over, and Max is like, "You want to go see the spaceship?" So the kid's like, "What? What are you talking about?" He's like, "Come on, we'll go see it." And the kid was like, he looked frightened. He was like, "Is this real?" Because all the lights are going crazy and there's digital screens. This is a big set. Like I'm telling you now, I put my heart and soul into it. If you think the Temple of Doom set was something, that's just a little toy.
It's a toy that Kenner was not selling. It's and even the Hoth set that you built. Oh my God, otherworldly.
That's
Jabba's Palace. Jabba's Palace. That was another. Wow.
Oh, there's a Hoth one too. I just didn't show it. My dream job, to be honest with you, is to work with Santa Claus. I would love. If that was an option, being a toy maker, oh shit, man, that would be fantastic. That's my dream.
Right on.
But yeah, then there's the show. So
right. Well, we've gathered here today to talk about your motherland, and we're talking about Running Wild the other night, and there was a question that I posed that never made it to the air, but especially back in the day, geography was a thing. There was the German sound, there was the Swedish sound, there was the Bay Area sound, there was the East Coast thrash sound, there was all these different areas that had its own identity. What makes Canadian metal special, and does Canadian music have its own identity?
That's a tough one. That is a tough one. Well, here's the thing. It's strange. I'm really hoping that Darcy was going to come on because
he had other plans, unfortunately.
Yeah. Or as I like to call him, Johnny Quest's dad.
We would have had the yin and yang of Canada on one show. It would have been amazing.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the point I'm trying to make, because a Canadian sound is very, very, very difficult to nail down. I mean, when you think Canada and hard rock metal, who do you think of? Clearly, it's Rush.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, now, okay, for chuds like us, we know where this is going in the Sacrifices and Razor direction, yes. But the sound, that hard rock dinosaur sound, the Triumph and things like that, that's what comes to my mind. But the influence from England and the UK and the States, of course, like we were the little brother, right? Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is Darcy is what's another part of Canada, which is like the other side of the world to us.
It's Saskatchewan, I believe.
Yeah, right. So what's what we call up here mainlanders, right?
Oh yeah.
But I'm from Labrador, Newfoundland, and we were like the last province to join Canada. Just for some little barroom history for you guys, we didn't join Canada until 1948.
Oh wow.
So the sound, not so much Alberta. That's more country music and stuff like that. But Ontario and Quebec, they have their own metal sound, that unique Canadian sound. But for us, predominantly Irish, and only the Irish could stumble upon a giant rock in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and claim that as home. So
looks like home.
Yeah, this is fine, right? Nothing will grow except potatoes, and that's precisely what it is. So the hard rock heavy metal sound, it's not big. Like you can't really name many heavy metal bands that came from Newfoundland. Chevy, Bucket
They're in
Truck.
my stack. Yep.
Yeah, right. But I mean, like, you really have to struggle. But Irish people, their music is really boiled down to a diddly diddly die die diddly diddly do, and everyone's happy. And it's like, well, look at me. I like to get drunk. I like to party. I don't mind a good fight every now and then, right? And then afterwards, get up and have a drink again. That's my people, and we have a very, very dark sense of humor because we've been through a lot. So I think that's the difference, and that's why I really wanted Darcy or another hoser on here tonight, because that's a very different perspective.
Sure.
Right. And you see those guys. My wife is from Ontario, and they have a different way of behaving. It's very formal and polite, and it's like, hello, kids, it's good to see you, family, give us a hug. We're in Newfoundland, we say the most inappropriate, horrifying things. Like my grandparents would be like, get over here and I grab your dicky bird, right? It's like, what? What did she just, my poor wife didn't know what to make. She was like, are they threatening sexual violence on you? It's like, he's just gonna grab your dicky bird, man. Right. Like, come on, taste Pops. Want to have a bit of Pops pipe, right? And you're just having a few little sips with them, right? That's it. But I would say that the heavy metal sound that Canadians are known for, hats off to them. I'll give it to Ontario and Quebec. I don't care whose feathers I ruffle right now. Those guys, they're responsible for a lot of the stuff.
Oh yeah, the black metal scene. It's got the Quebecois black metal scene. It's got they're kind of like the Cascadian black metal of Canada. It's its own sound, but similar, atmospheric and lofty sounding. Then you got the Vancouver stuff happening. Where everything from industrial to modern. You got Archspire. You got Devin Townsend. Very Vancouver is kind of like they got all the chips, all the technology chips over there where,
we got the ketchup chips too.
Yeah. Move further east, it de-evolves somewhat. It gets a little bit. And then Voivod was Jean-Pierre.
Jean-Pierre. That's where my dad's from. I'm half French. So I'm half French, I'm half Newfie, and I'm neither loved nor respected in Canada. So it's tearing apart. And like my temper when I get angry, which is a perfect balance to my sense of humor. And that's something I'm no exaggeration. It can get crazy, but that comes from the French side. I really do believe that, because the French are they're a hard group to get along with sometimes, and I love them, and like they're my family. But it's there's a darkness there. There's a dark energy, and they've made some of the best heavy metal using that. Jean-Pierre, Quebec, I mean, is a notorious like place. My dad grew up there, and like when we go on summer vacations, it was a rough spot. So the fact that like bands like Voivod and Death Dealer, I mean, you can understand.
Oh, Death Dealer! I didn't pull that. Yeah, hopefully you did. Alan, I'm rambling here. Did you have anything you'd like to throw on the stack of wood here?
No, it's all good. I'm letting Phillip get everyone up to speed, because Canadian geography is kind of escapes a lot of us down south here. So it's good to hear this. I'm just making sure we've got a ton of people in the chat already. So
we do
making sure we get comments up and talking to them. And again, for anybody that maybe came in a few minutes late, if you were thinking of doing super chats tonight, please instead use the GoFundMe link to help out Jeff Wagner and his family. We'll mention it a few times since folks might come in later, but we really want to redirect some help to them tonight.
Right on. Well, okay. Without further ado, Phillip, why don't you start off this shindig here? You're the guest. You go first.
Man, I've got a pile here.
Good. I'm glad, because my pile, I'm like, man, most of this stuff's going to get talked through. It just is before it even gets to me. But
well,
my stack's pretty weird, so I don't think I'll be stealing too much of your thunder, Marty.
Well, speaking of pile, how about Piley?
There we go.
Gord.
Rest in peace, Gord. Yeah.
Very, very sad. I don't have the first one, and that is something that I do have it on tape, but I never consider that like I have it. I don't know. I'm such a vinyl snob, right?
Yep.
This was a band that I actually discovered later on. Oh yeah,
Just a CD, but
that's
still.
the best one. That's the best one. This
Yeah, no doubt.
This is a slog, right? You know, like all the creative juices were done at this point. And to be honest with you, Canada has a reputation. Ontario has a lot of like sleazy aspects to it too, where bands aren't really bands. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of like hired guns, and they would just come in there and like, we have a concept for this heavy metal.
Isn't that the Virgin Steel guys? Another one of his bands from back in the day.
There are some of them like Convict. There's a lot. If it's on Viper, the label Viper, some of those bands are questionable. The reality, kind of like what's that one? Lords of the Crimson Alliance. You know what I mean? They're bands, but who are they? Where are they? No one knows, right? That's why I said years ago, I thought I'd love to see a Lords of the New Crimson Alliance get back together. That would be amazing.
Were they ever together to begin with?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, no. So that's Piley, and I never ever had a chance to see them.
Can't imagine why.
All right, good start. Canada's on the map. Alan.
But, I'll just follow up with a little bit more with Piledriver. Absolutely, for folks, that may have missed something there. This band never really did exist. It was kind of a label scheme. They were kind of figured like, hey, heavy metal's easy to make money off of. You just come up with an insane character and write some insane song titles, and people will buy it. It was almost like they lost a bet and had to prove they could do it. So they got this guy and got him in costume there. Sorry, reflection's a little worse tonight. Yeah. And you've got all kinds of classic songs on here. You've got Metal Inquisition, Sex with Satan, Sodomize the Dead. That one's really catchy. Yeah. Let's see. There's Alien Rape. Let's see. Yeah, it just kind of goes. Actually, that's about all of them. It's a pretty short album because again, they didn't really intend for it to go anywhere. They're just like, this is going to be a quick cash in.
Yeah.
And then instead, it ended up getting voted like album of the month in most of the European metal magazines and stuff. It was making like year-end top 10 lists from 1984. And then they were kind of like, oh crap, what do we do now? So they had to sort of try to make another album, the one that Phillip just showed. But it's a fun, just very goofy, doofusy album. The cover tells you everything that you're going to need to know about it.
Hold that up a second, Alan.
Yep,
Is that the first ever documented pentagram shaped bondage blouse ever documented?
I don't know. 1984, probably not. It's probably a little too late to be the first. But
I love how he tastefully covers his nipples.
That's well placed bondage straps right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were you gonna say, Phillip? I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it's something. I mean, when the film junkies. My Aunt Louise is texting, so no, it's kind of like Canucksploitation. You know what I mean? There was that metal exploitation.
Exactly.
And Canada really has a lot of that.
Cleavage cloak.
Cleavage. So there's. I would love to be in the boardroom when all these men were sitting around a table and they're like, "Okay, what's metal? Rape." Someone says alien because they're thinking outside the box. Sex, but with Satan.
Yep. Just like they probably just had like this, checklist of words to combine and to make sure we got them all into the song title somewhere.
Some 13-year-old latchkey kid is sitting in there testing. He's like, yes.
So, hey Billy, come here. Which of these sounds like a song you and your friends would listen to, hang out waiting for the bus after school? That one and that one and that one. But I mean, it worked. It really did turn out to be a kind of fun album. People still enjoy it quite a bit. Folks thought it was good enough that it fooled people in the day who weren't in on the joke from the get-go. So sometimes things work out for the best.
Is that your first salvo there?
Yeah, that can be my first one. Yeah, I'll piggyback off of Phillip's there, and we'll do Piledriver deserves a double header mention there, I think.
All right. Well, I'm going to start off with not metal, and I love this band, which is odd because it's the only CD of theirs I own. I've been trying to hunt down original vinyl, and I just don't have the pockets for it. So they're going with No Means No. Wrong.
Okay.
This band, I've downloaded, when I was still a downloading guy, like ages ago, I downloaded like 5 or 6 of their records, and there was like a summer at work when I was still in a commercial print shop sweating my brains out. I listened to this band over and over and over. Multiple albums. They're just so damn good. High energy. I don't know if you call this punk or hardcore. I don't know what the hell you call it. It's just, it is that. It's on Alternative Tentacles. It's Canadian. You got the dual bass stuff. Funny, good, smart lyrics. This album was reissued here several months ago on CD and vinyl, probably cassette, I would imagine. Finally snagged a copy of it. I wanted the record, but they didn't have it when I went to the store, so I ended up with the CD. But yep, this band rules, absolutely rules. I mean, The Tower, holy shit, Big Dick, great song. 2 Lips, 2 Lungs, 1 Tongue, absolutely ripping album. What do you think? What do you think, Chromie? Are you a fan of No Means No?
No.
Not metal enough?
Listen, man. My history has been well documented. How the punks and I got along, and being for those of you that don't watch my channel, I didn't get along with punks or skater boys back then because like I was still wearing like Killer Dwarf shirts and Helix shirts. And this was like 93, 94. And yeah, I stuck out like a sore thumb, but I wasn't being ironic. I was just, that's what I love. I love that heavy metal sound. And all those punk kids, man, they would just crucify me and just, throw cigarettes and just say horrible. And so I just but it's funny because my best friend in the world was like the crustiest punk you could ever meet. The two of us were, like Ernie and Bert. But yeah, I think maybe he pitied me more than anything else. I think he took me on as a project because he used to make me all like mixtapes of Angry Simone and stuff, but I couldn't let go. It's kind of like being a hardcore Trekkie when someone's like trying to push Star Wars down your throat.
Yeah.
Get the fuck, man. So I'm not going to be on here and say, oh yeah, I really appreciate that. They're good. Fuck you. I hate punk.
I like punk. I have a soft spot for it. All right, sir. What is your next?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Philip, did you say Ernie and Bert instead of Bert and Ernie?
Well, see, now here we say Ernie and Bert. In Canada,
I was going to ask: is this one of those 54-40 or fight division line kind of issues? Because never in my life have I heard anybody arrange them, non-alphabetically.
Well, it's like Australia. The toilets flush backwards in Australia. So I mean, there you go. That's the explanation.
Have you listened to the new Chong and Cheech album? Right? Yeah, I can understand how that would really put you off.
I mean, I'm not making a big deal out of it. It just threw me for enough of a loop that I did have to clarify. So we're good. We're good.
Yeah. Bert and Ernie. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'd say Ernie and Bert. I always thought Ernie was like the main man. Bert was his,
Oh well, yeah, everybody knew that. But and that's why Bert got first billing, and Ernie was pissed about it, so he had to constantly upstage Bert to make up for the fact that he was stuck with second billing. And Bert, was kind of passive that way, so he kind of let it slide because he was still on top of the bill, which means he got a bigger royalty check.
I'm going to tell you, if you really want to talk about Ernie and Bert, I could go hours. I mean, I am the puppet guy. Right, so
we're in your other wheelhouse right now.
Yeah,
we should probably steer out of that house.
If you want me to get into like obscure Muppets like Fat Blue and shit, I'm like, whoa, it's gonna get the waiter for Grover. Remember that guy? Come on.
Sadly, I do. Yes.
All right, sir. What you got? What's number 2?
There's a couple that I just wanted to get out of the way because they were there, and I can't not acknowledge them. The dinosaur rockers, the Goddos, and the Fist. And I've heard you guys, I do believe, on the show saying one time that saxophone does not belong in metal. I think metal theologian.
It does not. That is a correct statement.
Yeah. By the way. And metal theologians echo that. And I'm usually the guy that will back everyone up on that. That's just horse shit. But Thunder and Rock is the funnest, most hilarious song in the world. There you go. Smoking
all the fist.
Yeah, the whole thing. The whole thing. You're going to lose your Casio watch.
It's Fitbit nowadays, bucko.
Yeah. I was talking about that tonight, about how we're all like Dick Tracy now. Everyone has the watch, and it's crazy. Yep. But yeah, I'm not going to count that. But those are important Canadian bands that, with the early Canadian sound. Right? Yep. So, but that's not my pick.
Well, let's not gloss over, because I have a Goddo question.
Okay.
I have a question. Okay. Years ago, a friend over in the UK sent me some video links, like, hey, check this band out. It was like some live concert footage. It was pretty cool. And I got some of the albums, this one included, and I always feel like the albums don't quite live up to the live performances. So I'm wondering, was Goddo one of those bands that just never quite sounded right on vinyl compared to when they played live? Or am I just somehow not connecting to the album the way I did to the video footage?
Dude, how old do you think I am? I remember that show at Goddo, yes, back in '73.
Some bands have that reputation, though, like Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law, is really fun to watch live. They never have sounded particularly good recorded. So I kind of have to wonder, was Greg's Mob kind of in this? Or wait, no, was it Greg or Gordy?
Well, they're all brothers.
Yeah,
next we'll be talking about Sanders, right?
Greg. Yeah, because Greg's had a big online presence. Talks the band up as like this wild party band and stuff. It just doesn't sound quite wild enough in the grooves. But then you go watch him play live, and he's got the big gold suits on and going nuts, and it seems really fun. So
they're a forgotten band in Canada. I gotta be. No one really talks about Goddo.
Really? Okay.
No, not even like in hushed whispers where everyone's like, man, that Goddo was pretty good, man. You know what I mean? I didn't see God, but I know the point you're trying to make, and I've said this before, where it's like band can't capture the magic that they do live, and I would say the same thing with Armored Saint and Y&T. Those guys. I mean, those were good shows. Those live shows are amazing, right? But the recordings, it's not so much. But I had to get that out of the way. So
fair. Absolutely. Right? And you're absolutely right about Fist, Thunder, and Rock. The first couple of songs on that album are just glorious fun.
Popping a beer, smoking a cigarette on the windowsill. Oh, listen, that's the only time a saxophone belongs in Mel. But I will die on that hill. But I'm gonna go with a fun one. Marty, I was gonna pick this, but I decided to change because no, I'll take this out anyway. Never mind. Infernal Majesty.
Worst cover in metal.
Yeah,
but it's such a great record.
Could only be made better if he was wearing one of those paper Burger King crowns.
You should make a puppet of that guy and have him part of the show. Like, everybody hates me. Why? Exact his vengeance on mankind from hell on Chromium Dioxide Radio.
It's like the King on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Where you go around on the train. So this is why I've looked into this mascot, trying to find out if it had a name, and it's one of those things. I'm going to bring up Halloween, where it's almost like fashioned after Fang Face, that mask at the time. You can kind of see the features are similar, but it is also a generic.
It's got reverse jazz hands, which is the anti-jazz hand.
Yeah. So but the back makes up for it in spades. No, I think it's fantastic. I could hang out with all these guys. But Infernal Majesty. I featured them on the show probably 3 episodes back, and it's an underrated album. Not many people talk about it. I know Phil Champion from Pantera. He was a huge fan of this. Other than that, I thought it was like when I was younger, I thought I was like the only guy that knew Infernal Majesty. But that cover is, it's ugly, but god damn, man, it's a good time. It's a 6 dressed up as a 3.
All right, good one, good pull. And Alan.
All right, let's see. I want to start with that, but I'm not ready to start with that, so we'll start with something else. Let's do classic favorite old Canadian EP of mine. Real early release on Metal Blade Records, their first international signing. Witchkiller, Day of the Saxons.
You got to sing it, though.
Day of the Saxons. We can do that.
Yeah.
Yes. And again, speaking of weird puppety mascots.
Yeah.
Is that Texas Mike? His face was scalped.
Yeah.
It might be one of the reasons that Texas Mike went rogue and was involved in some of those CIA photos we've seen.
His family was faces were skinned.
Chromium Dioxide videos. But yeah, this one, obscure band. They did not go on to fame or fortune or even a full record deal. Sad but true. But it's one of the real early ones on Metal Blade. 10011 for the serial number. And it's just a extremely good EP, very new wave of British heavy metal kind of influence, but got a little bit more of a chuggier sound to it. Not thrash at all. It's a little too early for that to be a thing yet. But yeah, just really good sing-along tracks on it. You got Day of the Saxons, Rider of Doom, Cry for a Wolf, personal favorite, Beg for Mercy. Begging for mercy. Dun, 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 dun. And Penance for Past Sins, which is a surprisingly cool song title for its time. When most of the songs, none of the song titles had been used yet, so you could still just call things Beg for Mercy and Rider for Doom, and it was all novel. But the fact that they went for kind of the advanced Penance for Past Sins, this early on, it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. These guys are deep. But unfortunately, their discography is not, because it's one EP. One that you can still find for a reasonable price, too. People always, bemoan how bad the vinyl collecting market has gotten and stuff like that. You're looking at one of the first 11 things to come out on Metal Blade, and you can still find copies of this for $30. And if, you're not above haggling on the price, you can get it for less than 30 as long as you're polite and you're haggling. So, yeah, real shame that they didn't get more stuff. And to be very clear, now, something that will grind my gears if you do it, this is not Witch Slayer. That's a different band completely. Too many people in my past have tried to, call these the same thing. There's a Witch Slayer and there's a Witch Killer. That's different. Your killers and your slayers, it sounds like, they're synonyms, but nope, two separate bands. So don't even go there and try to, cram them onto the same Metal Archives page, because I don't want to talk to the moderators about having to separate them again.
Yeah.
Too much of that.
Here's the thing. It's such a Canadian thing to do. Like, we'll kill. We're not aggressive enough to be slain. That's just, we're just doing it because it's what we have to do. I feel a Slayer is only in it for the sport. Right? But yeah, no. And my favorite name ever, Todd Pylon. A lot of these guys, if you know your underground Canadiana metal, these names will come up in a lot of other obscure bands. So they were like, they got around, basically. Some of these guys, I do believe, even at one point in early Omen. So anyways, enough on Witchkiller, but I'm glad to see them represented, because I was very excited to haul that out tonight. So you beat me to it.
Had to be. And once again, we do have, strategic but subtle nipple coverage.
Yeah.
Yep, just placed just right to maybe tease a tad, but
he's about 2 pounds away from not being able to wear that outfit. Just saying.
Only 2.
Yeah. Well, I would kill for his body.
Me too. Yeah.
If I could pull that off, like
apparently somebody did.
Yep.
Very good to see Witchkiller this early. The nerds must be losing their mind. You pull that Witchkiller, though, at a party like in Toronto, like, you're going to get some street cred, man, real fast.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All good. All right, Marty.
Well,
on to you, sir.
It was a long time ago. I grew up on the wrong side of a hill in the woods, and I grew up with 1.5 channels of TV. And my dad, mom were hardworking folk, lower middle class, maybe little middle class, I guess. And Dad scrimped and scraped and ended up getting one of those new 12-foot satellite dishes that we had to cut a bunch of trees down, sit on the side of a hill, and before they started scrambling the channels, it unlocked a world of wonder, both in the Naked Lady realm and also music television realm, which it introduced me to a channel called Much Music, which I was filled with absolute wonder that there was something called the Pepsi Power Hour. And even this band I'm going to show, I'm going to steal Chromie's thunder a little bit for the fact that I thought I was so cultured because I was watching a lot of, Canada's got Rush, sure, but Canada also has fucking Helix, bro. I tell you what, this band was a national treasure when it came to Much Music. It was always on the Power Hour. It was on during the day. Yeah, I mean, I got this album for $6 here in town, and I had to laugh. I saw it sitting there, and I'm like, this brings back very fond memories of 12 feet of wonder, the satellite dish, and Much Music. I mean, I just couldn't believe how amazing my life had improved after my dad got that thing. But this band is like, you want to call them a glam band, but they're really not. They're just a rock band. They're kind of like the Canadian Rat, but they're like a little bit more knuckle dragging than Rat was. I think they're just more simplistic. Does it have Rock You on it? Yep, it's the lead off track, boy. Yeah. That's the one. I mean, I'm looking at the Gimme Good Lovin'. That was a hit single off of this. Come on. This is a banger. It's just a banger. It was a good band. I'm sure I'm just going to step aside and let Chromie elaborate because I'm sure they were probably in his stack as well.
Oh, I have them there. The same record. I wasn't sure which Helix I was going to pull because I have them all, brah.
Yeah.
Right. Helix is a good time band, and not everything. I'm not a guy that like I only like heavy hard music. I'm everything. I love AOR. I love all that shit. But when Helix is on, I never ever like ignore it. I take time to stop and just smile and enjoy life because, man, they are a fun band. Right. The song on the Iron Eagle soundtrack, Too Late, and Deep Cuts the Knife. I think they were a band though that were really hurt by that Much Music song that was constantly played, Rock You, because no one ever really needs to hear Rock You ever again.
No, it's like Let There Be Rock. That whole lead up to the it's just too much.
I love Kiss, but I don't want to hear I Want to Rock and Roll All Night ever again, or Crazy Train. But Rock You kind of hurt that band in that way. But Iron Eagle, that's a movie. You're damn right, man. But Helix, and you brought up the Much Music and Gimme Good Lovin'. Did you see the original version of that had to get pulled? Oh, hey, come on in. I got a metal munchkin coming in here. But yeah, that had a very young Tracy Lords.
Yeah.
There
she is.
The girl named after Rowdy Piper and Randy Piper from Wasp. Give him a face.
Hey,
she's very
shy.
She's the sane one in the family.
Right on.
Oh yeah. So but I can't recommend Helix enough. And if you don't have it like in your dollar bin section, you know what I mean, just for hoots and laughs, then there's something wrong with you. Don't always be so heavy and mean. Just take time to enjoy the Canadian flowers.
She looks very sleepy, like it's getting close to bedtime, isn't it, sweetie?
Is it
she can't hear.
Creepy? No, she's up till 1,030,000 this one. It's Friday night, bro. Oh, look, Metal Kev. He's got a great, the hilarious House of Frightenstein librarian. That's the guy. I'm telling you now, dude. That's what my show was based on. It's a loving tribute to that. You taking off? She's got a sour.
She made her cameo.
Yeah, she knew it was your turn, so.
Yeah, she was like, I'm going to have none of this Helix, right? She's more into the dance. Okay, let's get this out of the way because people are like probably like pissing themselves waiting for this. Yes, it's coming. Of course, it's coming.
Of course.
Yep. Of course. Can you imagine if we didn't bring out Exciter tonight? Like, people would be furious.
That would be weird.
Marty, you said something before the show. And,
I stand. This is a hill I'm dying on. This is the best album they ever did. This album ups the speed metal. The songs are better produced, kind of atmospheric. This is just great, hard driving speed metal from Canada, and I love this album. They should have stopped right here.
Okay.
Just saying.
If you think I'm going to fight you on the fact that Long Live the Loud is a terrible album, or I agree with everything you're saying, but to say they should and not giving us Unveiling the Wicked, come on. Any song, I remember in Chromium, the magazine, we did a whole special on songs about how school sucks and homework sucks and things like that. So this one has, you remember like Wasp School Days, right? But this one is School Rules I Hate, right? It is so much fun to listen to, right? I'm going to fight you on this. And also the Pink Mist, the Pink Fog. I just love it. I've never had a problem with this. Did that come after Long Live the Loud? Yeah. This is
directly after, right?
Yeah. It's number 4.
Well, we were obligated, like the Canadian government, like when we had to put out so many, Exciter albums.
Yeah.
I
have that one too. I haven't spun it in a while though, but every time I just actually got Violence and Force on vinyl, a reissue of it. Yeah. I was listening to it the other day, and it rules, but it's just they got their shit together on this one. This is the one, man. This is the magic sauce.
They were too early.
It's got one of the Helix ladies from Gimme Good Lovin' video on there too.
Look at her poor arm. Look at her poor arm. Look at the length of that arm.
Wow, there's like 2 elbow joints.
Yeah, hold that up. Show, again, for people that haven't paid attention to this. Her arm.
Yeah, that's a poorly drawn arm. I think the guy couldn't draw hands very well.
Yeah.
So he wanted to hide it in the cape there, so he just kept going with it. Boobs and butt, he's got nailed down, but hands, oh no, I'm going to stick that in the cape.
Yeah. But
2 elbow joints.
Great cover. I have that back patch actually.
Nice.
Yeah. You want to see a guy get some strange? Oh, back in the day, bro. And it wasn't from the punks, I can tell you that.
All righty.
Let me say something. Hold on a sec. I'm not done talking about Exciter here, pal. They were too early, and they don't get enough credit for what they contributed. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to make bold statements like, they invented thrash or speed metal, because, I'm not saying that, but goddamn.
So would you say like a band like Annihilator would come in and kind of steal Exciter's thunder? Even though they were, I don't know, I think they sit in a similar class of metal for when it comes to Canada.
Annihilator was way too late. I mean, the early versions of Annihilator, no one gave a shit about. Everyone thinks they're an Ottawa band, but they were a BC band. And then when they came to Ottawa, then they started. I mean, what was the first album? Alice in Hell. 89.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you try to picture it, 89. So, nah, I don't think they stole. I don't think Annihilator stole anybody's thunder. And to this day, I've been like practically getting into like fights of defending early Annihilator, right? But no, I think that and they were speed freaks, and literally speed too, taking speed before shows, and they were just nuts. But I mean, just a great show, and it's a fantastic band. I think that they should, when people say Metallica's the creation of that genre, which again is controversial to say, but I think that Exciter belongs up there. But I think they were a little bit too early. Wasn't the time.
Yep. Right on. Alan.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree, Philip. They, sounded fantastic, but they were just like a year too early or something. And then somehow they also ended up being a year too late because thrash kind of stole the spotlight from them too quickly. But yeah, real shame. We have to at least show the debut album if we're talking Exciter for a moment.
I still don't have that one. I need to snag it.
Oh, sir. You do yourself a disservice.
Yeah, they just don't turn up. That's why I was surprised to see Violence.
They are a little tricky to find. I'm not going to say more about Exciter because I have an Exciter themed video ready for Tuesday. So
awesome.
I'll come back to Exciter over on Let's Talk Metal on Tuesday.
Oh, that's cool. But
I'm asking for help. The video, all I will say is it's a cry for help. And Phillip, I'm looking at you.
Oh, if you want to talk Exciter with me, baby, I love it. I've got like the old school shirts and everything. Like I go way back with Exciter. It was handed down from my grandfather, generations. Take this, my son, our legacy.
But yes, I will save the rest of my Exciter insights for Tuesday. Okay, I'm ready to talk about this.
I see what you're bringing up there.
Mm-hmm.
I see it.
Yes, the most Canadian of all metal things. Yeah. I should have led with it, but I needed a moment or two to kind of warm up before this because after this, as far as I'm concerned, the stream's done. You're just not going to tap this.
You can't.
How much more Canadian could you get than a compilation album called Moose Molten Metal, where the moose's horns and antlers are like made out of adamantium or something?
Yeah.
And you get 2 volumes of it. This, yes, you're right. This is volume 2 because there's a volume 1 as well.
Yeah.
Can't.
Is this the one with the Harlot's Web?
It has not only Harlot's Web, but 2 songs later you have Harlot.
Yeah.
So, Canada was getting some mileage out of those.
Hateful Snake is on there. Hateful Snake rules.
Hateful Snake is one of the good tracks on it. Yeah, it's not a lineup that people are going to recognize. We have the A side is Harlot's Web, then a band called Rise, then a band called Harlot, not to be confused with Harlot's Web, then Ready to Rip. Side A closes with Nitrix. Then on side B, you've got Vigilance, Sentinel, Sye, S-Y-E, who I think made a couple of singles, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Then the Hateful Snake that Phillip mentioned, and closing with Outrage. Not exactly talking Annihilator and Exciter type, level fame here, but it's actually not a bad lineup at all. At least half of these songs are pretty solid. Volume 2 came out in 86, and a lot of the bands sound very 1986. Actually, they sound maybe a little bit more 1985, and then this came out a year later. There's nothing on here that's going to be extremely crazy thrashy or anything. Like Nitrix, for example. The singer's a dead ringer almost for Tim Kiefer from Cinderella, and they kind of lean that way a little bit, but the good early Cinderella stuff. Some of the other bands are, again, size a little heavy. Hateful Snake. You're getting a lot of bands that are just that mid 80s kind of sound we've talked about with a few other acts already tonight. Fun stuff to listen to. Pretty well put together. I think the A side is better. Both the Harlots, by the way, are among some of the better tracks. So, yeah, it's the kind of thing that when you see it in the record store, you stop and you stare, and if you have any heavy metal street cred whatsoever, you just open your wallet and you buy it because you must find out.
Well, this answers your wife Mel's question. You bought that for the album cover, didn't you?
I didn't not buy it for the album cover, but I don't have a LP copy of Volume 1. I have it digitally. So I was familiar with Volume 1, and Volume 1's fairly good too. I think Volume 1 does have a little bit more name recognition among the bands. But so yes, when I saw that there was a Volume 2 browsing through the record store one day, I was just like, I didn't know there was a Volume 2. And now I do, and now it comes home with me. And yes, I can't say enough things about this cover. They absolutely nailed everything they needed to, shy of having like him surrounded by a bunch of golden beavers or something.
Only I could get hassled in Hamilton. Hamilton's a rough spot. Okay, it's a very industrial town. Have you ever been to Hamilton, Marty?
Home of Sonic Onion Records. I have been by Hamilton. On my cut through from the loop to cut through the shortcut when you're coming from out east.
Old Hammer Town. Let me tell you something. So I'm there, and I'm talking about, and this guy corrected me. And only in Hamilton can you be correct, because I called it molten moose metal, and he was like, "Fuck you, sir." Is it molten metal? I'm like, I think we're going to be friends, or we're going to fight.
Right?
I almost shit my pants, though, at a Chromium release show. We used to have, like, record night and stuff like that. And in walks Hateful Snake. and they hadn't played together for years. But I almost shit my pants. And
No
then
way.
they were telling, yeah. So we did an interview with them, and they were telling us, Hateful Snake had this notorious black van, and it looked like a grape van. You know what I mean? I don't want the show demonetized or anything, whatever. But yeah, but it had this like the big Hateful Snake logo on the side, and they'd go around and like they were the terror of Toronto, like that. Who is this Hateful Snake? Right? They're pretty cool guys too.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, and just in case folks were wondering, no, this is not some kind of weird outsider underground indie press. This is Capitol Records.
Yeah.
This is actually on a major. It's not something that the local radio station cobbled together from demo tapes or anything. Yep.
Every band on that comp thought, dudes, we made it. A comp on Capitol Records. Hey, we're gonna get rid of this old stinky toque and get a new one.
We finally broke the attic curse.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I soured a lot of Canadian bands. I think Razor were the ones that really bitched about it the most, even writing a song. But American Luck, Canada's had a very hard time getting the product out. We have really struggled. I mean, just the geography. I mean, you said you don't know Canada, but Canada is very, 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 very big. But it's sparsely populated, and like we're in, like I said, like we're connected to Quebec. But I mean, it would cost a fortune to tour here, and very few bands came to Newfoundland. So America is ideal for that. It's ideal for being in a band and marketing it. It's just so Strange Brew soundtrack, yes sir. But yeah, so I think that's been something that our the film industry has been more successful than that, but that's because of you came to us.
Yeah,
Americans come to us because of the dollar and also the tax shelter
exchange rate. Yep.
But yeah, the tax shelter there was so much incentive to come there, and so the movie industry and a lot of I love to sit back and laugh. And I talk to my parents. I'm like, do you know that when you were paying taxes in the 70s and early 80s, you were paying for Canadian titty comedies and slashers? That's what your money was going into. And that's just fantastic. I like to call my parents like investors in Canadian softcore porn. They don't see it at all though. They don't like it. But yeah, it's been hard for Canadians, I gotta say.
Alrighty then. I'm up next, and well, this is this album. When I bought this on tape from Camelot Music back in the day, this album completely knocked my dick in the dirt, stomped upon it. This album rules. You want to talk about a crossover thrash metal record? I don't know. That's using the term loosely, but this album from start to, it's very short. There isn't a bad riff on this thing, and it pummels from start to finish. It is so well done. I love that red foil on it's such a simple cover, but it's so effective. And then when I walked into Camelot one day, saw this sitting on the rack. I'm like, you know what? Wow. That's coming home with me. And you know what? There are two albums that never sounded further apart from each other. It's amazing.
Yeah.
This one took me, back in the day when I had just enough money to maybe buy 2 tapes a month. If I was lucky, I spun this over and over and over again because I didn't initially like it. I'm like, what happened? This is just, I don't like the vocals. The music's cool. They got more techie thrash sort of, but the vocals are just kind of like a narration. The Genesis explosion, creator of expanding space. It's just kind of like that. And but after listen, it grew on me, and I like this record. It is not the absolute ass whooping that this one administers. This album is fantastic. This album is one of my favorites from Canada.
That's
I love
my
this
go-to
record.
for them. Yeah,
absolute go-to. But this is a grower. You have to really sit with this one and ponder it. There's still a level of simplicity in the structure, but the riffs themselves are a lot like they were listening to Corner or something, but they kept it a little more sci-fi. I don't know. It would have been interesting to hear where it went from here, but I don't know. It kind of seemed like they shot their load on this one. Obviously, they disbanded after that. I know one of the guys passed away, Maybe a couple of them passed away, but and a few of the unreleased songs that surfaced on that compilation that came out, they're not that good. They're just not that good. It's kind of blah. But yeah, if you want to hear a good descent into the dissection of this record, Radical Research does a breakdown of this record pretty extensively. They kind of passed this record off as meh, which is I wish I could be a fly on the wall in that conversation and say, you guys are ridiculous, because this album absolutely crushes the universe. But both of these records are good. It sounds like the tale of two different bands. Yeah, but DBC, Dead Brain Cells.
When someone described it to me, the second one, they're like, it's a thinking man's thrash. I'm like, I'm out.
It is.
I'm out.
Yeah. Well, it was really trying to become thinking man's thrash, but yeah, that you could tell they didn't quite figure out how to do it. They were doing something interesting, but they were still maybe a little shaky at it. Do you think the vocals were maybe they were trying to do a Voivod snake kind of thing with the robotic kind of delivery? I wonder. I don't know. I wonder
if they were going robotic, they didn't jazz it up with technology at all. It just sounds like him talking like this.
No.
Conquest power with the power to detonate. Just kind of talking his way through the. It just sounded like they wrote a bunch of instrumentals, and then cool instrumentals, and they're like, oh, here's these lyrics. Oh, I can't sing and play over them, so I'm just going to talk. I don't know what the hell. I don't know. It's a weird record, but if you listen to it a bunch, it'll grow. It's a grower for sure.
Yeah, it took me a while.
I see what you did, Simon.
Yeah. All righty, sir. You're up next.
Ooh, the stress.
Wedgie seeking thrash. That's fine.
Sorry.
Got a chance to meet this guy, and Sword.
Yeah, I've heard some of the Sword on the Spotify playlist, and it actually kind of rips. That one with the metallized, is that called metallized something? Or the first one, that one.
Everyone talks about this one but this one was always my favorite. I think I always loved this cover more. I think that's what it was. And the last, what was it? The song "Life on the Sharp Edge." I can't recommend that enough. That is just fantastic. The guitarist, Dave was looking for him, hey? Dave Mustaine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, all the people that Dave went through. I mean, Jeff Waters and the guitarist for this. Yeah, he wanted to work. He loved Sword. He thought they were fantastic. Because I remember on Much Music back in the day, he was hosting. I think it was a Halloween show, and he was talking about how he tried to get them involved. It didn't work out, but yeah, I can't I think Sweet Dreams is the better album. And again, Life on the Sharp Edge, people, you got to hear that. I mean, that's just great. Do you, Alan? Do you have any?
I don't have any deep things to add, but yeah, that's like Martin. Good album, good band. It's always had that kind of underground cult following. It's one of those albums that doesn't get a lot of attention, but the folks that know it tend to like it. Oh
yeah. No, it's a good one. I don't know why this one is the one that everyone seems to love. I think this. I'm not going to say overrated because
I've only heard like a handful of songs off it, and they all kind of rip. I was kind of impressed. I've always turned. There's something about that record. I never picked it up, but I kind of wish I did because it's what I've heard sounds good.
It was one of the very, very first pins I bought for my jean jacket when I was younger. The square pins. The square pin. I used to love those. I bought that and Rocky 4. Those were my first two for my battle jacket. Rocky 4.
Right.
I never even heard Sword at that point. I was just being a poser then.
Well, that was a good pull. I didn't realize that Sword were Canadian. I know nothing about that band. I don't own anything about it.
Montreal.
Right. All right. Alan.
Okay. Let's certain bands do have to get their shout out, like we said with Exciter. We'll go ahead and make sure Anvil gets thrown in there too. Early Anvil, still very fun to listen to. Not a band yet. I haven't kept up with all 67 albums they've put out and all that stuff. Oh. But this was always my favorite from the early ones. Album number 2, Metal on Metal.
You know what? We didn't consider Anvil when we were talking about that night with Overkill being the one band with the most releases. Anvil's probably real close to them, aren't they?
Anvil, I don't.
Way more. I'd be willing to bet way more.
I will check when I hand things off to you, Marty, and we'll see. But yeah, there's a
Still not
we were looking
range
for an
numbers,
American
but-
band, so I didn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we did kind of expand out, and you're right. Anvil never came up in that conversation. But yeah, Anvil, was on the scene at the right time, and got some exposure and stuff. But again, they are another band that seemed to have kind of quickly gotten left behind.
Yeah.
I tend to attribute that to just by the mid '80s. Everybody's doing either thrash or glam, and so these bands that were in between and just doing the traditional metal stuff, you didn't really have a really big fan base at that point. Everybody was going for the accessible stuff or the heavier stuff. But yeah, fun stuff on here. I mean, any album that's got a song called Mothra on it is probably going to end up on my shelf.
Sure.
Got it. Just fun stuff. But yeah, no, Phillip, you mentioned before, Anvil also kind of chalked some of their issues up to problems with the label Attic.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. Anvil is, I was with them all along. The painful 90s, like when they really just gave up, like Speed of Sound. And like, you're in for it. Like you're in for the long haul if you're getting Speed of Sound and plugged in permanent. Right. But I was so happy to see them make that comeback. I mean, yes, the movie it's silly, and it was manufactured, but I love the movie because I know those guys, and I just thought it was so good to see them get their due, and it was long overdue.
I gotta say, Traverse City isn't a major city, but it's a nice city. We had the Michael Moore refurbished an old theater downtown, and every year would do the Traverse City Film Festival, and they aired the story of Anvil at one of the high school theater. They put up a movie screen, and it was a packed house. Me and TJ went to see the movie, and when it was done, the screen went up and Anvil came out and played like 4 songs. And then Michael Moore interviewed him at the end. It was so funny to see grandmas like standing up, like there's something about that film, the story of the underdog, the way the film is shot is done so well that even 70, 80-year-old people are up dancing when, he's out there singing about crabs or whatever, March of the Crabs. And it was fun at the end of that show. 2 hours later, they played Union Street Station, which is a club about the size of this room in my basement I'm in here, to 15, 20 people. So, I mean, the underdog story is still true, even though they had the hype of that movie. Hey, we're playing this bar at, in a couple hours, come down and watch us. And that crowd did not mingle down except for us. And they were still great. They did good. I've seen Anvil probably 6 times in my life. And I think the thing that always held that band back was Lip's voice. His voice is,
I love it.
I mean, it's just on the verge of rough. I mean, you got Rob Reiner's. He's an amazing drummer. I pulled Anvil as well. Back waxed.
That's my
Forge and
favorite right there. Forge and Fire is my favorite.
Forge and Fire is a strong second place for me. Yes.
Yeah.
I just don't go back and play it as much for some reason.
I thought I had Metal on Metal, but I don't know what happened to it. Unless it got filed wrong.
Believe
Tim is right with their 20.
Yeah,
Tim is correct with their 2024 release. Anvil is now
20 albums?
20 albums deep. Yep.
What about
Assuming,
Overkill?
I just Overkill's also on 20.
Are you
Wow.
serious?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
So they are tied. They are now officially the Canadian Overkill. That's how this works, right?
Overlord. Don't ever put this one down either. I remember.
I'm a mad dog.
Oh,
mad dog.
that video
Bad.
killed them.
Yeah.
No, that video killed them. That song sucks. It sucks. That was a time when they were on a lot of Canadian talk shows too, and they seemed very, very like they were goofballs, but they would have audiences of just women and young girls, and they would read the lyrics to some of them, and women were horrified. They just came across as like very immature, stupid, and sexist. Everything is like, what's wrong with being sexy? Right? That's they were very like dumb. But this one, I remember this was in, what was it? Slumber Party Massacre 2, I do believe. Yeah, they open up with this one. And I think this is a great one. Wild Eyes cover, straight between the eyes. And Dave, they never play that one because that was Dave Allison's song. And Lips couldn't sing it properly without him. And that's unfortunate because it's one of my favorite Anvil songs. But I almost killed my wife, my girlfriend at the time, when we were just together when Anvil started to come back and make their comeback. And she's like, "You're never going to believe what I got us for our 7th-month anniversary." You know, when you did that, 7th anniversary. I'm like, "Oh yeah, what'd you get me?" She goes, "You're gonna freak out." And she's like, "I got 2 tickets. I spent $200 to go see Anvil." And I'm like, "What?" Man, I can get us free tickets. Right? I've been going to Anvil forever. I'm sick of Anvil. Like, I don't need to see them anymore. You
should have shut your mouth on that one and took the knee on that one. Just let her think she was rocking your world there.
But I couldn't. It was Anvil. We're living in Toronto and it's Anvil. It's like 2 weeks ago before this movie came out, Lips is like, he's doing delivery.
Another Canadian shows up. What, you just getting done being at a party too? All these Canadians are out partying tonight. What's going on?
Looky who we got fucking here, eh? Oh, my mom told me not to swear so much tonight on the show.
Oh, well.
Because they're watching.
Are they, hey, Mom and Pop, what's going on?
Hey, come on. Let's do shotgun a few beers.
Why don't you go again? I talked about Anvil. I rambled on, so let you do another one there.
Me or
we can't all three of us do Anvil, so go ahead and pick another one.
The band that cocaine killed, and I mean, everyone loves cocaine. I'm not going to judge you for that, but Kick Axe really gave cocaine a bad name. It just couldn't get their shit together, and I really enjoyed them. One of the very early heavy metal shirts that I got in my collection when I was a kid. I still have it. I put it on the other night for trying to turn my wife on, and my stomach and my man breasts just were an absolute turnoff. It was the worst thing I could have done. And then I played this for her, and that was the worst thing I could have done too. But I got to tell you, I love. Do you guys have any Kick Axe?
That is the most screwed up cover I've ever seen. What is going on?
Well, you want to talk, but you know this band, right? Like,
oh yeah,
I've seen the.
I don't have any, but
racks. I don't have any either.
I've heard them. Yeah,
this was another band that did 50-year-old Canadian whiskey. So yeah, too bad you didn't drink it the other night when you left me high and dry.
That's why he left.
Yeah. But I'm always fascinated with mascots, and when Dave and I did the magazine, we had a rule: the bare minimum, the mascot had to appear twice, right? In your, to be considered and this one it's appeared more than once. Its name I don't know. We just call it Vice, right? But but that's a cocaine decision, right there. That's a cocaine decision.
Yeah.
But they were also in the show. One of my villains is called Spectre General, which any of you that grew up watching Transformers the movie, Spectre General is actually Kick Axe, right?
Okay.
There's like 2 people that just got very excited. Right?
There's a bunch of Canadians. Cheers to all of our Canadian brothers and sisters up there in the north, eh? Good to see all you folks tonight.
Lazarus says Vice Head. That makes sense. I've got 3 of the albums, and I really enjoy. They're fun. They're fun. They've got Alive and Kicking. I mean, you got to know that one, guys. You didn't do your research for this. You didn't at least listen to Kick Axe before you invited Canadian on here.
I had no clue.
Too. I'm getting a little bit nervous. Besides the fact that my parents might be watching this, but having me represent the entire Canadian metal scene tonight's a little bit daunting. It's a bit scary.
What's scary? I didn't hear you. I was reading. I can't listen and read at the same time. What?
Oh, you can?
No, sometimes I can, but
yeah, no, it's just having to represent Canada.
Oh yeah, it's all you. It's all you, baby.
There's all these Canadians. You're saying there's Canadians on here, and they're like,
yeah.
All right.
The funny thing is here, Brendan said I have three Kick-Axe records as Darcy recommended them. So Darcy is a lover of that band as well.
Old Johnny Quest, Dad.
What's up, John? How you doing? All right. Good one. Alan, you're up.
All right. Some folks asked about this in the chat earlier, and I said it was coming, so here it is. Old, very cool one. Sacred Blade of the Sun and Moon. It's always written of the Sun plus Moon when you see it. But as the name and title should be conveying, it's traditional metal. It's got, a very spacey kind of sci-fi out there vibe to it. Very interesting. The songs kind of vary from one another quite a bit, but the vocals have, sometimes again, they'll do like a little bit of that, just a little bit of that, like kind of a robotic interstellar touch to them to make them sound a little otherworldly. The song title is very quirky. You have things like, Fields of Sunshine, but it's spelled with a Z. They use the letter Z as much as they possibly can. You have like the Rain of Night Rains with a Z on the end of it. And so, yeah, it feels like there's kind of a loose concept going on here with a whole sort of, cosmology, or maybe it's more of an astrology kind of thing. There's been, some interviews with them too, and they come across a little bit spacey, kind of like, they're reading from the John Cyrus playbook, but deciding not to go that nutso with anything. The album came out on Black Dragon back in 1986. They never had a follow-up. I was kind of thinking this band probably got back together and did something. It feels like the kind of band that should have done the reunion gig by now and put out at least one or two albums on High Roller or something. But no, there's a bunch of demos from both before and after the album, but that's been it. This is an old CD reissue at this point. But yeah, you can find it. It's not a really, really expensive one or hard one to track down, but it's very good. It's another one of those kind of like the Sword album that Phillip showed earlier. It's never gotten a ton of attention, but almost everybody who hears it, gets into it. It's got a very good production for a Black Dragon release too. Black Dragon didn't always have the best quality control, but this one did sound really good on it. So yeah, if you like that kind of slightly it's got that quirkiness that several folks in the chat have mentioned about Canadian metal. So if you like that quirky, slightly sci-fi, kind of vibes going on, the Sacred Blade of the Sun and Moon album, a very cool, fun one to check out. Not something I play often, but I always enjoy it when I do.
Now that's a band that should have done a little bit more cocaine.
There's a fine line.
I've never
very fine line.
Yeah,
I've never found like the need, like when I was on shrooms, you know what I mean, to like listen to metal, and that's like shroom metal. There's just something about it, and I don't have it in the collection, and I went back to I've been looking for it kind of casually, but it's never wowed me. It's just, and when you say cult metal. When you say Canadian cult metal, now you're going down into the depths, man. Right? So
okay, we just got another release here. Carl says, so that's cool. Yeah, it's had a few pressings over time, so it's always feels like you can get it without too much trouble. It's not something that has disappeared into the woodwork.
Good to see them represented, huh?
Glad to see Heavy Metallurgy is playing in a Canadian bar somewhere. That's awesome.
I hope it's in Hamilton. Please let it be in Hamilton.
Yeah. And John, thank you and Sue for donating. And so yeah, just a reminder, if folks came in late and don't know what John's talking about here, we've got a GoFundMe link in the show notes for Jeff Wagner and his wife. Their house burned down earlier this week, and so we're asking that if anyone can donate to them, please do. If anybody was thinking about doing super chats for the show tonight, please don't. Please take that money and direct it towards Jeff and his wife's GoFundMe page instead.
Hell yes.
So, thanks, John.
All right, I think I'm up next, and I think we're going here. Non-metal once again, one of my favorite bands, Skinny Puppy from British Columbia. VC, Victoria, British Columbia. I mean, this to me is this is the industrial band all other industrial bands inspire to be. It just is. They got it right. They started off kind of dancey, but they just mixed in the nightmarish weirdness in with it. And as they went on, they got more and more. They pissed off their fan base and the club kids that wanted to dance because their shit, when they, about the time they hit Last Rites, they were really noisy and chopping up beats, so they weren't dancey, and they just, it was kind of like the middle finger to that whole thing. But I've always respected the hell out of this band, both visually and, you know, lyrically, sonically. Just a great, great band. If I think a lot of metalheads would appreciate this shit because it's aggressive, it's dark, and if you listen to Ogre's vocal style, you will hear very similar take on that style from Attila with Mayhem and Tormentor. He has a very similar singing style. That's what makes me really like De Mysterious Dom Satanas so much. He just sounds like a more evil ogre to me. I don't know. This band, they're just artistic as hell. I've always appreciated them. If you want to see a really killer show, go on YouTube and look up Ain't It Dead Yet. It's just a bloody mess. It's just amazing what two guys sampling keyboards, loops, all sorts of, they're such maestros at their craft. It's amazing, amazing stuff. Amazing band. I will always champion Skinny Puppy. Even after Dwayne died and they came back and they were super dancey, I still like it. I like all of it. Other than an album here or there. It's just awesome Canadian music for me. A great band. And again, Phillip is quiet.
It's like thought it was an apple, but I bit into an onion.
All right.
For a country with a rich heavy metal history, Marty's definitely going outside the lines tonight.
Yeah. I had to
say
a little bit
Newfoundland, I'm poisoned. All right. Let's go a little bit newer school.
I'll be right back.
Skullfist.
Yep. Folks were asking for that in the chat earlier too.
Oh yeah. This is now. I wonder who drew that. There was a while where I was the Ed Repka of Toronto. So with all the Cauldron shirts, all the Skullfist, you name a Canadian band that of this era in the early 2000s to about 2010, it was, which Phil shirt is this? I made a lot of dollars, a lot of loonies working with these bands, but Jackie, or Zach, or whatever he calls him, but Jackie Slaughter on this, I've always been a huge fan. I met the second day I was in Toronto when I moved there. I ran into Jackie, the lead guitarist and singer of this band, at a Megadeth show, which I got concussed later on. That's a different story altogether. But I was just begging. I was just bumming for a cigarette, and he was the first guy I ran into. And he gave me a cigarette, and I was like, "Hey, dude, I've just moved to town. I'm into heavy metal too, clearly." And I was like, "Thanks for the cigarette. And if you ever need me to do art, I'd offer my services." And I did all their. And then he called me out on it. And it was so amazing, that one cigarette. And then I was like his slave. Yeah, but if it wasn't for that night, I wouldn't have got to know all those bands and hang out with them and tour with them. It was great. But the maniacs, just absolute psychotic maniacs. Jackie must have had like ADHD. Like, he is so talented. That whole band was incredibly talented, but lunatics. I was there. I've seen Jackie get into a fight with a Japanese man named Tak, and they were fighting with real rakes. And I mean fighting. I saw Jackie jump off a 2-story home into a garage, and he went down through it. Fucking lunatics, man. But yeah, I'm glad to say I know them. I love them. But I'm going to say this, Jackie, if you were ever watching this, your logo fucking sucks. I hate that logo. I begged him to not use that, but the man had a vision. Who am I to argue?
Got a question from Metal Kev.
Did I design all of their tour shirts?
Actually, you and I have talked about this in the past, but life got busy and you were probably a little drunk when we talked. I probably was
Not
too.
me. I don't think so.
But I think the next Heavy Metallurgy shirt should be commissioned and have you do it.
Someone beat me to Sex Condor, and that's on me.
We talked to you initially about the Sex Condor thing, but
and that was unsolicited. It just kind of it showed up fully done on our doorstep.
It
like, hey guys, I was so inspired. Here you go, and just like that's awesome, and it is. But yeah, we did not go out, and like Phil's not going to do
screw this Phil guy, whatever.
Yeah, we didn't recruit somebody else.
I was the poor man's. I was the poor man's Toronto Ed Repka. Like, and every thrash band had Ed Repka. I was Toronto's metal guy to go to.
Ted Repka.
Yeah. It got so bad that then they started to turn on me, and like by 2011, everyone was like, I'm not having that Bernard look, okay? I just had to leave Toronto because it was oversaturating the market.
Phil should do a Golden Beaver tee.
Yeah, I'll do that, but I'm still hurting over SexCon. Or maybe I'll do the Canadian remastered version.
I don't know, but we've talked. We're more than happy to. Well, we'll talk about this offline. Alan, you're up next.
Okay, yeah, I'm just going to keep going through some classic Canadian vinyl. This one's a reissue. I don't have the original, but yeah, got to go with Black Knight's Master of Disaster EP.
Vancouver.
Now, cool cover. It's an extremely cool cover. Lots
Is he
of detail.
riding that thing or doing something else to it? He looks a little big to be on that.
I believe he may be riding it, or he's like kind of like motioning it forward over its wings. But yeah, really cool cover. Again, this early on, you could use a name like Black Knight. It hadn't become generic yet. Master of Disaster. Again, at the time, this is really cool. I wish the music on this was as cool as the cover was. It's not bad, but it is not what the cover conveys. I mean, this screams like the most underground, cult, raw, sick, Colosseum level kind of, stuff must lurk inside.
Yeah.
It's very accessible. More this is stuff you could have played, in any backyard party when somebody, Ted's parents were out of town in 1985, and everybody would have, lifted their plastic Dixie cups and whooped it up and had a good time.
Ted's parents actually loved Black Knight, I'd say.
Yep. It's not that heavy. Here is 2 iterations of the band. This picture is everything you ever need to know about heavy metal in 1985. This is your education.
All of them. I would have no problem like having sex with all those. Are they men? Right?
The dude in the middle looks like his legs are way too small for his torso and head.
Yeah. But, only 4 of them are, because they do have a female vocalist, of course. The Scream Queen. Again, this was originally just an EP. This was a really early release for Cult Metal Classics. It was one of the early ones they put back out, and they had a lot of bonus tracks, and some of the bonus tracks have a different vocalist. They have a guy with a much louder, kind of slightly gravelly voice, which it kind of works. It definitely adds a little weight to the material compared to her vocals, but I'm not going to say he's better or worse. It was a lateral move. But there are some good tracks on here. The standout for me is, wait for it. Where's it at here? Dead of Night. There it is. Yeah, really good, catchy chorus to that one. It's just a little tighter than some of the other songs. In 85, this would have been very cool. But this is very much the kind of thing by 86, 87, probably nobody wanted to admit to, liking this style anymore. What's Gavin up to? I wouldn't have, nope. But yeah, Black Knight. This one's the originals have always been kind of rare and kind of pricey. And it was one of those known rarities. Even like in the mid 90s, people were already hunting for this and willing to pay a couple of $100 for it, and you couldn't find it. So yeah, not surprising. Cult Metal, gave it the reissue treatment in the early 2000s, and it's fun to listen to. This reissue, I set the inner sleeves. It's got a really, really long set of liner notes written by some of the band members that really goes through the band's history in detail. I haven't read it in years, so I don't remember all the fun facts. But you can learn an awful lot about a band that looked like this and only really released one 5-song EP if you read those liner notes. They really give you a good breakdown of everything they were into.
They were all selfish lovers too, I hear.
Looking like this, they're allowed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, absolutely. You are there to please them. You know, they're doing you the favor.
Alain, the second you brought that up, I just peered over to see if Metal T was going to shoot his mouth off.
Okay.
And he didn't fail. Yeah, I had him on when we did our D&D metal show, and he pulled that out and made me a little cross, as the old folks say. I don't have that one, and he knows I want it. That's like, he has like 5 that I really want.
I'm sure there's more than 5.
No.
If you really get digging, I'm sure there's way more than 5.
Oh, sure.
That Sun Ra, come on.
Oh yeah, I tried listening to Sun Ra. It sounds like 60s Spider-Man music.
I know. It's an acquired taste.
But now, Philip, let's be fair on that on said dick measuring contest episode. Did you or did you not reveal your unicorn? And I don't mean that dirty, folks. I mean that is like the unicorn album that Aaron's still looking for.
Yeah, but I.
Yep.
I want these albums to just take away his special like power that he has over me. I don't like the fact that he has like Wizard, and I don't like.
Nobody has Wizard but Aaron.
But I wake up in cold sweats in the middle of the night, and I'm like, and my wife's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I had the Aaron Wizard dream again." It just pisses me off.
I'll make you feel better, Philip.
Sure.
Because it could be a lot worse. He could have both versions of Wizard. He only has one.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt if he has 2. He'll check.
He hasn't revealed the second one yet. I guess. Well, we should probably phrase it that way just to be cautious. But
if it's upsetting to me. But anyways, like I've always called him, he's my Belloc. He's always been my Belloc.
And people are clamoring now. Well, one person is. Alan and Marty got to do a photo shoot like that. Hey, we're talking about a heavy metallurgy meetup this next year. Who knows? You never know. Maybe it could happen.
Guys, can I please just sit at the table as a guest?
You're open invite.
Please. Yeah, and everyone in the band Black Knight. And I'll prove to you that they're all generous lovers. When I said they were selfish, I was lying. But yeah, I would love to go there and sign 8x10s with you guys and just ride your coattails.
Just going back to the other picture, you cannot tell me the guy here in the this is the picture of the other area lineup for the band. This guy right here is so doing his best Masters of the Universe pose right there.
Yeah,
that just screams. I mean, they should have had a song called Castle Grayskull just for him and for that picture.
Those are my favorite kind of band photos. Like, I love
they're
that.
Awesome.
The hairy chested era where everyone's, and I'll tell you something else. I'm going to stand up here. There's always that guy in the band that has his thumb in through the hoop and one in the pocket. And that's the dude I always loved. You look at the like Fistful of Metal era, Neil Turbin, he did. And in my grade 12 photo, I did that move. See, Marty, we got to talk about Halloween and Anthrax tonight. We did it.
I had nothing. Everybody bitches at me. Just wait when I review the new live album. I'm going to get so much hate. I don't care. What's up, Teej? How you doing, man?
All right, Marty. We've had a lot of fun with the Black Knight EP, but now it's time to move on to you, sir.
All right. Well, this was inevitable, and these are 2 of the greatest Canadian thrash records right here. Torment and Fire.
You beat me to it.
Forward Determination.
Love that.
I love the raw determination and fiery, razor sharp riffs on this one. But this is their more mature thrash album. But still, it absolutely rips. Reanimated, Afterlife, Flames of Armageddon, The Entity. Oh my God, what a killer song! But yeah, this album, absolute favorite. everything about this is a radio promo I picked up in town, so it's got writing all over it. But it just, they even look like they're tearing it up live. They're just absolutely grimy and young and nasty looking on here. After this record, they lost me. I'm sorry. Soldiers of Misfortune, it's their Metallica record. It's really boring and long. I saw them on that tour.
Love it.
And I've never heard Apocalypse Inside, and I just don't think it's probably very good. And I just don't want to pay the money to explore it. And I saw them the first ever, I've said this a million times on here, oh well, first Michigan Death Fest. I went to go see Sacrifice. And headliner was Morbid Angel. It was during the Altars of Madness era. Of course, Morbid Angel blew everybody away. Well, Deceased played also. They were killer. There was a lot of good. Baphomet, Nuclear Death, Lucifer's Hammer, and who was the first band? I can't remember. Oh, Fatal. Fatal played. I mean, great lineup, but they got the PA turned off because they wouldn't get off the stage. They kept playing and playing and playing. The songs off of Soldiers of Misfortune, which I had not heard at that time, they focused heavily on that album for that set. Those songs were just so mid-paced and boring. I'm like, God, they're not playing any of the bangers. They're not playing any of the old shit at all, really. And writing was on the wall. Writing was on the wall for that band. They're back, and even their new comeback stuff. It's just, I'm not feeling it. I don't know.
Someone in Bolt Thrower, they didn't reveal who, but someone in Bolt Thrower took a pocket knife and held it up to someone in that band's throat in an elevator. Yeah, and I couldn't get the
over
details.
what?
That's the question, because when it was mentioned,
probably because they wouldn't get off the damn stage. It probably fucked up Bolt Thrower's set time.
I have no idea, because that's the story that I heard, and I was trying, when I was interviewing, I was trying to get that story out, and it was a very uncomfortable. It was like something that no one was willing to have fun or laugh about. Like, oh yeah, I remember that. Something bad happened, and I don't know who it was. I would love to think it was Joe.
I'll gut you like a fish, eh?
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting band. Also, Sacrifice will always be one of the most important Canadian metal bands to me, because speaking of much music, Power Hour, that was the music that they used, right?
Oh yeah, yep. So good.
Yeah. So it's always I think maybe I was in the right age when Soldiers of Misfortune came out. Because
I just moved on to heavier shit. That was part of it. World got way more brutal, and Sacrifice said, "Oh, we're going to put out our Metallica record right now," and it was boring Metallica. It wasn't good Metallica.
Yeah, you know? But I think it was like who presented to me first. I remember my friend Jamie Squires, who was an ultimate Canadian chud. Like, this guy was, he got me into metal. But he shows up in a station wagon, and we called it the Testament Mobile, because he actually had in green spray paint on it. It was called Testament. And he had a cardboard Testament license plate that he'd have to do every week because of rain or snow would ruin it. But when a guy like that shows up and says, "Man, have you heard the new Sacrifice album?" I don't have the balls or the gall to tell him that's a boring album. Whatever he said, dude shows up in a Testament Mobile with a new Sacrifice. I'm on board. Like, you know, Garth Algar's, like the gremlin that he had. This is who this guy was. Like, I can guarantee. He'd always come into the house, and he'd grab like my mother's hair or his mom's hair, and go, and he'd smell it. My mom would be like, "What's going on?" So yeah, that's just Jamie being Jamie, man. So yeah, Testament Mobile gave Sacrifice the thumbs up on that, and I'm not going to argue. Mirth Mobile, yeah.
All right, Phil, what you got?
Well, you stole my thunder with Sacrifice, so I'm going to go now. Let's get saucy. Speaking of Jean Kier, Death Dealer.
I have that record as well. Yep.
Yeah. Death Dealer, maidenish. You know, it's dirty, it's rough. It's Jean Kier, same where my father's from. How You know, we were talking about I can't remember who we were talking about earlier. We said that they were trying to play more advanced.
Dead brain cells.
Yeah,
DBC.
exactly. Perfect. You know, when people use the expression "likewise," I'm sure, right? And they use it inappropriately. I feel that this band tried to be smarter than they actually were. But Death Dealer is fun.
I like the name. It's simple. It's stupid. I think it's cool. It's a cool name.
Look, that logo. Can you imagine, like, when the guy presents that, right? Logo or Skullfist. All right, yeah. I think Death Dealer is going to win that because Skullfist really, up to this day, upsets me when it comes to that. But this was a fun album, man. This is great. It's solid. It's a blur at times, but it is a product of its time, let me tell you. They have a new album out. Well, when I say new, I still say Nirvana's the new shit. I don't like that new shit, man.
That Nirvana and stuff like that?
Yeah. So, I this is on Polygram Records. Can you imagine? Speaking of We've Made It.
Wow.
I got a Charlie horse. Ow! Ow! Listen, hell. Ow! Oh, that hurt. I don't know what else to say about Death Dealer. I'm glad to see that like a couple of you are out there that enjoy it and are giving it the thumbs up. But check it out. You're gonna like it. It's really underrated Quebec metal.
All right. Alan.
All right. It's long since time I got into the singles pile. A lot of very good and very rare, hard to find heavy metal singles from Canadian bands in the 80s. A lot of the kind of top notch ones I do not have. You don't see them, and they cost a fortune. So, but I've got a couple of pretty good ones that are worth mentioning. Bands that didn't really have much other output. First up, we'll go with a band called Minotaur. This came out in '84. Songs are Witch Hunt on one side and Burner on the other side. Never had a picture sleeve or anything, so this is really about it for your Minotaur information.
I've never heard of this before. I'm excited.
Oh, okay. You will like this one. You will like this one a lot. It is extremely good. So yeah, just a blue label with kind of silver print, a little bit of a script to it. But yeah, really tight, very energetic. It's 1984, so it's not thrash. It's too early for that. It's not as like loose or fast as Exciter, but it's tighter sounding than that. So it's like maybe takes like some of like the quicker paced numbers off the first two Iron Maiden numbers, and now you're starting to get I'm thinking like Charlotte the Harlot kind of numbers, but more streamlined.
So
really good stuff. Burner is the faster track and the better one. Witch Hunt's just a little bit pacier, but still a very, very good song as well. So yeah, they made the one single in '84 and disappeared. But the guys that ran OPM Records did track them down in the early 2000s. And so there was a compilation put out that had a bunch of extra tracks on it. For folks not familiar with the OPM label, their deal was not to reissue things. They weren't looking for a band and saying, hey, we want to put your EP back out. They were trying to find bands and be like, hey, you only had a single or a 4-track EP. Did you record some other stuff that you would like to put out? And so sure enough, they found some of the guys from Minotaur and put out a compilation. It's just called 1983 to 1987, the band's runtime. But you get 8 songs from Minotaur. And a lot of the other songs are quite good as well. So this was a band that could have put together a pretty strong album given the chance. I don't know why they fell apart. I was double checking over here, but it doesn't look like anybody really went on to any other big bands. 3 of the members are now passed away. So yeah, and all of those have been since the compilation came out. So yeah, that's probably all there's going to be from Minotaur. You get the compilation, and that unfortunately has become kind of hard to get a copy of because it's practically 20 years old at this point. But yeah, this single, it doesn't show up much. It's one that collectors will definitely chase a bit, and rightly so. It is a really good slice, perfect. I'll tell you, for anyone who's not quite got it figured out yet. This should have been on something like Metal Massacre 3 or Metal Massacre 4. One of those volumes, the early Metal Blade comps. Minotaur would have fit perfectly on one of those, and they would have been one of the best tracks on one of those. So, yep. Excellent little band. Just never got a chance for some reason. Minotaur.
God damn, that's what I love about you, Professor Steele. Like, I don't really have much to say about this band, but
5 minutes later, I'll find shit out.
no, but it's like, well, now they were the lead guitarist. He was married. That didn't work out. Right? It's fantastic. I've always the controversy about the word Minotaur or Minotaur. This has been the subject of very heated debates. I don't know if it's a Canadian thing, because Canadians, for the most part, say Minotaur, and you say Minotaur.
Well, you say a boot instead of about. So
fuck you.
I'm pretty sure I'm inconsistent on my pronunciation.
I'm Minotaur.
Minotaur.
You say Minotaur? Well, that's like the movie too, where the energy drink was a role model. They called it Minotaur, and I'm like, what'd they say?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I played D&D with Americans, and they say Minotaur, but us, man, we say Minotaur. And let me tell you something about this a boot thing. That's horseshit. That's mainland. That's that fucking Darcy dude.
They're not Islander. They're not Islander. You're an Islander.
They're goddamn. They're goddamn mainlanders. When we say it, we say about.
You're the Jamaica of Canada.
Didn't I have a Jamaica hat on earlier?
You did.
Yeah. But it's the pronunciations are interesting. Oh yeah, Metal Teeth is it like us? Okay, so
well, here's another Canadian, Minotaur. It's Minotaur. Come on,
guys. I think we should just drop the Canadian metal and then start discussing the proper pronunciation.
Because if it was going to be Minotaur, it would be spelled like this: Minotaur, A-U-R, is all R sound. It's not.
It depends on the language of origin. Because our can also be sour. It can also have an hour sound to it with like an OW.
Country of origin, please. Can you use it in a sentence?
If we're doing the linguistics, goddammit, we're going to do it right. I'm just saying. You can't say all SAURs or SARs just because we're used to it because of dinosaur. Is SAUR. But then there's Minotaur, and then you get into again like Tolkien deriving it from Nordic languages. It's Sauron. What almost rhymes with cow.
Who knew it was going to go down this road?
I think we all knew it. We all knew it was going to go down this road.
It's going to get nerdy tonight, everybody. That's just the way it goes.
I still can't believe that you guys still don't have ketchup chips. And the fact that when I say ketchup chips and everyone's like, gross, I'm like,
what about dill pickle chips? Those things rule. Have you ever had dill pickle chips?
You don't have dill pickle chips?
We have dill pickle chips, and they're great.
Yeah, we've got dill pickle chips, man.
I think I've had mustard. I think I've had mustard chips. I don't know if I've had.
Oh, I've never had mustard chips. I've had hot mustard chips, but I tell you, ketchup chips makes no sense that you guys don't like that.
The last time we did this, Alan went and got a plate of ketchup with chips and sat here and ate them. I remember on the show. Yeah,
that's right.
I thought about doing it tonight, but I was going to bring them tonight. But yeah, my tummy's not in the mood for the.
I forgot that. But I still don't understand it. It's I hope I should send you a bag. You've had them before, though, right? Proper ketchup chips?
No, they do not exist in the United States. They really are not a product we can go out and buy. I'm sure there's some specialties like you have like the Korean market and stuff where you can get all kinds of different things. I'm sure there's one of those somewhere that has ketchup flavored chips, but no, you go to just a normal grocery store, that is not a thing. All joking aside,
you do put ketchup on French fries, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm not a heathen.
Yeah, okay. No, I don't say. You want me to say decal, right? No, I say decal. You guys say decal too, right? You don't say decal.
Yeah, everyone says decal. No one says
decal.
Thank God. That's
I've heard some perverts use the word decal, and I don't like it. Anyways, let's get back.
Is it my turn?
It is your Sorry,
it's got to be someone's turn.
We took a Minotaur detour there.
A Minotaur detour.
This is what happens when I get into the box of singles. Shit gets weird.
Minotaur. You got to get the R in there. It's the way it is.
Tower. Right. I'm doing the Tolkien version. Minotaur. I'm making it happen.
There you go.
Minotaur.
It's time for the best album to ever come out of Canada. Here it is. People
were just asking for Voivod. It's definitely time.
This is the one.
Yeah.
I love Voivod. I love a lot of eras of Voivod. I don't love all eras of Voivod, but this one is absolutely my record. I love this thing. I've listened to this thing probably 1 million times. I'm never sick of it. It still sounds fresh. It's so well done. They finally refined what they do on this record. I love, the young, youthful rage on War and Pain, the hard driving thrash attack, a roar, and Killing Technology is weird and cool, but this here, it's everything all together. They start to lean into the prog a little bit, but they keep it metal. They don't go crazy like they started to kind of do on Nothing Face a little bit. I do like that record as well, but they're just, Piggy's really figuring out what he's doing here. I love the interplay between Piggy and Blackie's bass work. This band was They're special. They're still special. Synchro Anarchy was really good. The Wake, those are 2 really good new Voivod records. And Chewy, he was the perfect successor to Piggy. He plays like Piggy. He sounds like Piggy. They couldn't have picked a better guy. But it's good to see the band still going. Angel Rat, they lost me. I finally came around on that record. I got that record and I bought it. I took it back. I broke it and took it back to Camelot. I listened to half of the first side. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? Rocking, proggy, Voivod. Now I kind of like it. And it isn't as good. I did like Outer Limits. They kind of started to come back a little bit. But anyway, Voivod, Dimension Hatros. This is the band. This is the album for this band for me.
This Voivod.
Jonquière.
They're one of those bands, like we were talking about Tolkien and stuff. They gave you another world, like
whole another universe. Yep.
Like the art, the fact that the font, everything, it's like almost like a different language.
It's so
everything.
cool.
It's so out there. It's so bizarre. And yeah, I am. I didn't get Angel Rat. That's when I left. But I struggled with this band. I'm not gonna lie. I really had a hard time. This is more my wheelhouse. I love this nastiness. This is
We listen to the demos. It's like Venom and Merciful Fate covers in bad English.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Outbreak. I would like to have that, but I don't think that would probably ruffle some feathers if you bring out some Outbreak.
Why?
This it's got some Nazi imagery, and it's
Oh, okay.
But they didn't mean it. Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't really. I remember Metal T talked to me about him. He's like, "Do you have this album?" And I thought it was a different, because I said, "Is that the one with the flying bat on the cover?" Because it's an album that I bought and filed. Those albums. You just get them and it's in the collection and you never check it out. Then I looked it up, and he was going to try to look into it to get me a copy, because it's a fantastic record, to be honest with you. But it's got that one little problem. Right.
Yep.
And it's not on Discogs or anything like that, and but it seems to, like, when we were talking about Piledriver, like when you have like sex with Satan and alien rape and things like that, it's like, it's not a subject that you should lampoon or have fun with, but the music is pretty fucking good. But a bit dark.
All right, you're up, sir.
I'm going to bring up Outbreak. Yeah. Here's something. Okay, Rush. I mean, we had to do it. Okay.
That's the best album.
We did.
I know people will argue with me about that, but I love that record from start to finish.
I have no problems with any era of Rush, to be honest with you. I have no problems with the synth era.
The synth era bothered me.
Power
Windows has started to really, yeah.
I like it. I have no, but that shouldn't surprise you. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I would like that.
They put you on an island if you don't like Rush there. Oh, wait.
Why do you think we're all here? So I remember finding this, and it was a complete fluke because I was talking to a guy in Toronto at Monster Records, and I said, dude, I got a Faded Rush copy and I want to get the pink one because it's the iconic pink one. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I said, I got this one. It's like red. So I want to get a new one to replace it. Right. And he's like,
No,
is
you
it
don't.
red? Yeah. And I had no idea because I got this at a bargain shop pretty much. Like it was at a, what do you call it? The thrift store. And he's like, is it Moon Records? And I'm like, I don't know. And yeah, sure enough, it's Moon Records. Right.
Nice.
So this is a very lucky find for me. And it's if you're a Rush fan, this is the one that you have. So man, oh man, I love this album too. I think this is a fun
great
Rush album.
Yep.
Right. The working
man Rush.
Yeah,
band,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it's a far cry from this, right? But when Neil Peart got into the band, it's what was it? Who were they saying? It was a joke one time, and I everyone thought it was serious that Meg White from the White Stripes was going to replace Neil Peart. It was so
that
bizarre.
is misinformation.
Yeah, but it was so bizarre that everyone was like, maybe we could because they were popular and they had a name and she had such a unique drumming style that everyone was jerking off over that, I was like, oh, well, maybe they're going to try this. But I mean, that is absolutely absurd. Right. So thank God that turned out to be fake. Although in an alternate universe, that's happening right now. And I would,
yeah.
John Rutsey, he passed away, probably 10 years ago now. He was a sickly, frail young man. I guess that's why the drummer.
For
this,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. He had that's why he had to leave the band, wasn't it? He had problems back then. Yeah. Plus he was drinking on top of it. It didn't help.
Well, I mean, what are you gonna do, right? But when Neil joined the band, everything changes. But you don't really need to talk about this because it's well documented. It's what am I going to say about Rush? But you either love him or hate him.
And another thing that changed, not only the artistry, the percussion really stepped up, the lyrical concepts. I mean, Neil wrote all the lyrics from that point on, and he was a genius. He was a well-read individual, and he just had a way with words, man. Words and concepts, and that was the heart of Rush as well moving forward when Neil joined the band, I think.
Yeah. There are very few songs that actually move me. And when I hear Limelight, that and Kermit the Frog singing Rainbow Connection, I can't. And I'm not even like joking.
Back to puppets. You and the puppets.
I know, but I can't, seriously, I don't know what it is, but my son does it to when company's over, he'll put on Rainbow Connection and I get emotional.
And you tell everybody, shut the fuck up and listen to this song. Yeah.
I hate this. It's just so sad. It's such a sad song. Anyway, I got to fire up a whiz. Give me a sec.
Yep. Alan's up.
Yeah, for folks, if just for comparison, there's what every normal person has for Rush with the pink letterings, but yeah, Phillip's got the God tier with his obviously had the much more reddish color on that rare first edition of it, and I just stay quiet during the Rush sections. They're fine. They're very nice boys. I have Rush albums. I try. They never quite get there for me.
Red Barchetta is still doesn't do it for you, then it's not gonna.
Red Barchetta is I don't know how a song about a car chase can be that fucking boring.
I love it. I love that song.
It's about a car chase, and they're just singing about it like it's driving Miss Daisy or something. They're supposed to be trying to evade these super cops and these flying hover cars, and it's just kind of lazy, laid back, la 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 la. It's just is this the song that is the car chase song? I don't get it. Yeah. I don't know. That's my problem. Anyway,
Rush and Voivod for you are two insurmountable hills you just can't get over.
I chip away at the Voivod. I was playing Voivod earlier today. I chip away at the Voivod a little bit here and there. Every time I try with Rush, I just end up disappointed. I bought one of their albums a few months ago. I was like, I want to give this one a chance, and god damn, it was horrible. I don't even remember which one it was. It just was ugh, I want my $6 back. Anyway, let's get back to.
Let's talk about my prostate. That was a longer pee for the amount of beers that I drank tonight and earlier. That should have come out like a hose, but it was there was a lot of. Boop, boop, boop. Anyways, guys, get your prostate checked. That's what we're here really to talk about.
Form a
tonight.
line to the left.
All right, after you just besmirched the legacy of Canada's greatest, go on.
Aaron, I'll be over in that corner with Aaron. They're just not my band. They do have some songs I like, and I will agree. One last note: Limelight is fantastic. Yes, that song does hit all the right notes.
Does it make you cry?
It does not make me cry, but I will stop and listen to that song. It does inspire a little bit of that sense of wonder.
You got a foot in the door. Then you have a foot in the door.
If I send you a blank tape of Rush, Limelight, Kermit the Frog, Rainbow Connection, and Wild One by Thin Lizzy, you're going to be a goddamn mess. You're going to be crying.
Wild One's good.
Sun Goes Down by Thin Lizzy. That should be on there too.
That's a pervert song. I always feel like Randy with
that song.
Sun goes down.
It's a great song, but that one's got a different atmosphere to it than Wild One. Yeah,
Wild One is sad. My wife came home and I drank 17 cans of Yankee Jim Ice, crying on the floor because Thin Lizzy broke up. This was in 2011. I'm an emotional man.
Yep.
Anyway, Alan, please carry on, my good friend.
All good. Pleasure, I'm sure. Oh wait, I used it wrong.
Likewise, I'm sure.
By the way, hey Dwayne, how's it going, man? Hope you're doing well, brother. Anyway,
Dwayne's hanging out with us tonight. Lots of folks are. Good to see everybody in the chat.
A lot of Canadians up in here, eh? It's good to see all you folks.
We've got the Canadian contingent, the folks with the unhealthy puppet fetish cult. We've brought different units together tonight for sure.
Couple stray furries. We accept all kinds here. a couple bronies even here probably.
Don't make me go up and change into my sacrifice t-shirt. That's too small.
The bronies can just leave. Look, I'm a very understanding person. I'm pretty accepting and open to a lot of ideas, but bronies, leave the hall, sir. That shit is not cool.
No, you don't like that at all?
No, we can't do that.
I was a kid. I had 3 My Little Ponies.
That's okay. That doesn't make you a brony. It's okay. My sister had 1,000 of them. I'm sure there were points where, I played with some of them with her, and she played with, so I was like, here, I'll bring the G.I. Joes. You bring the ponies. These guys can, ride the ponies around. And, sure, there's crossover.
My guys will shoot
but that's
the
not
ponies.
Me going to conventions, dressing up in a giant Pinkie Pie costume, acting like I own the place or something. No.
One Christmas, I know we got to get on with this, but I remember.
Oh, it's all good.
I remember getting because I like strawberry shortcake. My cousins used to have a bunch of strawberry shortcakes, and I used to hang out with her a lot. And I'm like, man, they smell nice, and I like the little animals that came with them. So this was about Christmas 83, 84. So I got raspberry tart, and I'd say I was in grade 11. And my mother always, I hope you're watching. She kept raspberry tart in my underwear drawer. She was making them smell nice.
Raspberry fart.
I don't know, but it's like, why do you want my underwear drawer to smell nice? Like, what is that all about, right? But yeah, I was a Care Bear guy, man. I was G.I. Joe. Any toy like that, I loved it. I loved toys. Believe it or not, I did. And I didn't care. But
I had a lot of G.I. Joe and Star Wars. That was my childhood right there.
Well, you know what, dude? Maybe that's why you're hurting on the inside and you like shit so heavy and hard. And you don't like AOR that I champion sometimes.
Anal fissures for everyone. Thanks, big poops.
Maybe you needed a little raspberry tart in your.
Maybe I need a little something other than meat.
The purple pie man from Porcupine Peak, yes.
My sister had that, so yes, I know where this is all coming from.
God damn.
The only sort of retro thing I ever saw for Strawberry Shortcake that worked out well was the Robot Chicken sketch, where they introduced the new Strawberry Shortcake character. called bitch pudding. It just goes around insulting everybody. It's just like, damn, strawberry shortcake, you a hoe. Blam! Have another serving of bitch pudding. It was just so I will still just very randomly. Anytime there's like a gotcha moment, my wife knows there's a 1 in 3 chance that my response is going to be blam, and she's like, God, he's doing it again.
I just probably lost 11 subscribers, so we're doing good. Phillip.
All right, Alan, what you got? What's next? Everybody's talking about cartoons. There's a couple people trying to steer it back onto music in the chat.
Yeah.
But people are off the rails with us. It's good.
That's my bad. I take responsibility, guys. I'm sorry. Alan, please put something up now. Hurry.
Here we go. The best Canadian single that nobody's ever heard. Lord Ryur. R-Y-U-R with umlauts, because of course.
I think it's Ritter, actually.
Yeah,
it's not Ryur. It's like...
That's how all Canadians...
It's not Ritter. It's not a cowboy. But
Ryur. It's Ryur. Ryur. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Don't make me mute you, Marty. I have the power. But yes, Lord Ryur has Pact with the Sinner on one side and Heroes After Heroes on the other side. This is another just one and done band, but this single is absolutely fantastic. They're basically doing a slightly more gallopy, merciful fate is the first way you describe them. The vocals are doing some of that higher falsetto stuff. No, it's not as good as King Diamond. Nothing is. Just, we all know that and accept that. But yeah, some of those kind of similar, really high piercing vocals, but a really good up-tempo Iron Maiden gallop throughout the song. It's epic as fuck. Absolutely just fantastic, glorious stuff. The Heroes After Heroes song is also very good. It's a step down from Pact with the Sinner, but it's a small step. It's not falling off a cliff or anything. Love it to death. The band, well, there you go. That's really about all there is to say.
How much would I pay for this if I was looking for it? Just say I was in the market.
If you were in the market these days, I am guessing if we went over to Discogs, it would probably be somewhere in the $100 to $200 range, which is cheaper than they were 10, 15 years ago when they were more like in the $300 range. This is one that just enough copies keep trickling out over time to kind of almost keep up with the demand, which is not a lot of demand. But this isn't like, there's only 2 copies that have ever come out of the woodwork or anything. There's always been, just a few. If you want one, and you want it bad enough, you will get it. It's not something that has to stay on your want list, until you retire or something. But yeah, wish there was more to report about Lord Ryur.
I don't know anything about him, so I'm gonna, as soon as we're done tonight, that's maybe when I'm making some breakfast tomorrow, I'll put it on. So
Pact with the Sinner, yep, it's absolutely fantastic stuff. This is very much a Colosseum kind of thing. When you go to the Colosseum, folks, and if you stay for too long, this is what happens to you. You end up spending a lot of money on singles that only you and 33 other people on the planet are looking for. But yeah, it is a great song. Would definitely recommend looking it up.
100. Yeah, okay. What? Oh, explosive action. $100 Canadian. You know what's gonna happen now? Some goddamn Yank is going to get on there now and spend $30 and then get it. In the words of Razor, what American luck.
I don't know who said it, but someone mentioned the name Brad Shit. I just want to change my name to Brad Shit so bad. Anyway.
Was that the name of the Barbie that he said?
Yeah, I named the Barbie Brad Shit. I don't know. It struck me as a little bit funny.
Do you ever get caught like doing things with Barbies and your mother or aunt walks in?
I didn't have any Barbies. I didn't grow up with sisters, so yeah, Barbies didn't enter my hemisphere. Sorry.
You didn't play with the camper van? You lose. You lose.
I lose.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, Marty.
All right. Well, Much Music again gave me the gift of early Razor. This is a WNMC promo for Evil Invaders, and this was the one. I saw the video for Evil Invaders, which was
one of the coolest videos.
One of the coolest videos ever on Much Music, for sure. And I'm not going to lie to you. I've got a real love-hate relationship with Razor. I really like the early stuff. I like them up through a certain point, and after that, like the new album that came out, 6 or 8 songs on how they're going to beat my ass in different various ways, and I'm just like, I'm over this. It's just boring thrash with tough guy fantasies. I don't know, man. I don't know. But this early stuff I do enjoy. Do I listen to it often? I don't. But when I do, it's fun. It's just fun stuff. John Mantis? No, it's not John Mantis. But they have the right idea. A little too much of a color palette on that bike to be true metal, but...
I wish they were on a banana seat bike. That would have been so...
Yeah.
That's a Killer Dwarfs thing to do, right?
Right.
But that,
Yep.
I mean, that's a good Guelph band.
Yeah. It's a fun band.
Wow.
Others can elaborate more. It's good, solid Canadian thrash on Viper.
Yes, of course.
Yep.
And they are a real band. I think, yeah, good pick there, man.
Yeah. What do you think about the new album? Were you into it?
To be honest with you, I didn't explore it at all.
It's so boring.
I
Like
mean, I went past Sheepdog. Don't get me wrong, right? But now I love that album. But Executioner song is probably my absolute favorite.
Take that torch or take this torch.
Take this torch is got the greatest lyrics ever. I love it. It's a perfect album. Yeah. So
is that a reimagined cover? What's up with that
cover?
Yeah. It's like they took a picture of the gas tank on that motorcycle and put it in the background.
Yeah, it's a weird issue.
There's the original there. Let me see the eyes. Yeah. Okay, right. That's like Decibels when that came out. I didn't like that at all.
Oh yeah, well, you and most people.
But this is just such an amazing band. Now Razor themselves don't like this one. They like the EP version, but I like this version way better.
That's the one I have.
Yeah. This is this is a very special album to me when it comes to Razor, man. Just great. We had to do it at one point. Come on, guys, please. Evil Invaders. You guys are aware of Larry's Hideaway, where they played that video, by the way, right?
No.
My wife and I, we lived on the property where Larry's Hideaway was. It's now Botanical Gardens. It was a notorious place where Sacrifice, King Diamond, Slayer
played too long.
Yeah, when they're still playing. But it was a rough biker spot, and if you wanted to go buy acid, that was the place to go, right? But that was where Slayer first played when they first came to Canada and everything. So very interesting. Let's get this out of the way.
Yeah.
Yep. Overdue.
Again, two albums that don't sound the same. They sound like kind of two different bands.
But the whole anything that Annihilator put out sounds like a different album. But everyone remembers where they were, like for 9/11 and various other, that conversation.
Yeah,
I can never forget when the third album came out, Set the World Afire.
Oh yeah,
because it was, these albums are respectable, and they, it's very, very. There's a legacy there in thrash, Canadian thrash, but that album with Set the World Afire was it misled the rest of the album, because the rest of it was like all ballads and it's just foolishness and just like childish nonsense. Like, I don't know what happened with the band. And I tell you something, you guys were doing that show on logos, which I truly enjoyed, and I chimed in, and I don't know if you saw it, but when the band lost that sharp R, everything changed. On the World of Fire, they fucked up, and they got rid of that sharp point, and I think they brought it back on the more recent album, and it was palatable. But Jeff Waters is a guy I don't understand. And here's another thing that I always want to bring up: Anthony Greenham in this band. I don't know if he ever played with them live, but he's on all the albums. I don't think that he's real. Like, I'm not, it's pre-AI, but
I mean, didn't Jeff Waters play most of the instruments on a lot of the records when he recorded. I would imagine. Yeah.
I think at one point, like if you were in Ottawa and you played a guitar, you were going to end up, or drums or something, you were going to end up in Annihilator. It was the never ending,
Yeah.
It was constantly being changed. But the original lineup, especially with Wayne Darley on bass, I don't know. I think he came from he was the BC, and he was in that band, that cult band Assault. But apparently someone said that Wayne Darley is like living on the streets now, which is horrific. Right?
Huh.
Yeah.
I'd like to think, Randy Rampage, comes from that punk background. But Annihilator was a band for me that I was very proud of Canadian metal when they first came out.
Oh yeah, I remember the demo. Like I saw the people in magazines and zines talking about the demo. It was like this world-renowned demo, and then Alice in Hell came out, and the video on MTV. That's what made me buy that record.
Too late to the party, though. Way too late.
Yeah.
But I can go back now. But I mean, it's so Canadian, though. Like even the humor on this with Kraft Dinner, and it's just and guilty, right? But this one's mean. Like Human Insecticide is actually really good. I know who was it recently that was shitting on this? God damn.
We covered it in the album club, but everybody in the album club I think liked it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, Metal Mickey. Metal Mickey was talking about this.
Oh, Metal Mickey. Yeah.
And he just hates it. But I tell you, Wicked Mystic burns like a buzzsaw blade. That's funny. That one cracks me up. But I would recommend this. And some people really go with this one. I don't know. Which one do you guys like better?
Alice in Hell.
Also, you don't like Never Neverland?
It's just so different. It's got a bit of more of a commercial touch to it. I don't know. The singer, I don't know what it is. I've only listened to it a couple times. I need to.
Well, Corbin Farr was the singer for Omen. When he replaced, right? When
JD Kimball.
Yeah, when Kimball passed away, he was on that one. What was it, Voyage to Nowhere? Or what was that called?
Okay.
The woman with the pit vipers on. Yeah,
well, there was the one, the Black Dawn, something Black Dawn with the
oh no, yeah. No, before that.
I saw Omen with a singer that sounded a lot like JD. They were great. It was kind of like we were watching a tribute band, but it was still a awesome source material and a singer that was in the ballpark of JD Kimball. I mean, what a loss. That was one of the best singers in American metal.
Oh, he was
so good.
I was just reading that now for Prisoners. Okay, right on. I just know that he did sing on that one too.
Huh, okay.
A different voice though. But Annihilator used to get on my nerves too because they were always preaching in Canada. You guys probably wouldn't have seen it, but there was constantly Save the Whales sort of videos with Annihilator. Huh. It was a bit much. So
right on. All right, Alan. Do
you
have any whale saving metal in your stack from Canada?
I do not.
Whale Slayer or Whale Killer?
But we haven't strayed into Canadian death metal any, which we'll need to touch on at least a bit of that. So I'll go with a very safe standard one, Gorguts. Folks know this very well. We've talked about them many times. Yep, there Marty's got that. I've mentioned before, Considered Dead, it was the album that never quite made it out of Camelot Records with me.
Oh,
I cannot tell you how many times I went to Camelot, picked it up, carried it around.
So catchy.
But I always found some other tape I wanted just a little bit more, so it never made it out the door with me. But early Gorguts is absolutely fine. They, of course, got, really crazy, when they sort of, Luke put a new version of the band together in the late 90s. And I've really enjoyed that stuff, too. And I've spent more time with it this year. I liked it when it came out, but then I kind of, I didn't really follow up on it a whole lot. But going back to, Obscura and stuff, those albums are insane, but in the best possible way. But they're really worth it. I really do enjoy it.
You can't compare to this album, though, right? No. This is a different beast altogether.
Oh yeah, it's like two different bands. And these are good too. At least at the time, they always had the reputation of being very second tier death metal. It was just like, you had your Morbid Angels and stuff up here. And it's like, oh, Gorguts. Well, yeah, okay. It was one of those other death metal. They were just in the other death metal bands list. You'd name your 3 or 4, and then they'd be like, and then there are others. And Gorguts was left down there. But it's been good to see that people, do appreciate these a little bit more now than they did at the time. Because, the scene was oversaturated by the time stuff like Erosion of Sanity was coming out. It was very hard for any band to really get notice because there was so much. It was starting to sound a little too samey, and some other bands were doing other things. Black metal was coming up. It just wasn't a good time to be a band that wasn't already on the established tier. You weren't getting there by that point. But good album. Like them quite a bit, and they've had a good career. Feels like we're very overdue for some new Gorguts material. They always take their time, but it's time. Chop chop, let's do this.
That's chop chop, exactly. And Colored Sands is a great mix of more technical Gorguts with a little bit of the old stuff. They got a little more memorable. They kind of reined in their sound on that one a little bit.
They've done that a little bit since. After Obscura, from Wisdom to Hate, they definitely backed off a little bit for that one, and then Colored Sands maybe a little bit more. So they're. But again, it's also always like a different group of people. So saying they reined it in is kind of a little misleading because there's like nobody that they change out a lot of personnel from album to album usually. But Gorguts, we've got to mention some things from the Canadian death metal scene because Canada's put out a lot of that.
Yeah,
but Gorguts is definitely my go-to.
I remember during those albums that you were talking about, Past Considered Dead. That was that brief era where I wasn't. I guess you call it metal fatigue, and that was what I call my Frank Zappa era, where I was just tried to buy every Frank Zappa record ever, and then I just realized that well, if you think not Razor, but Anvil and Overkill have a discography, good luck. Right, but I did that. I had to go back and find a lot of those albums too.
Did you ever be patient, metal? Simon. It's coming. Come on.
What's he want?
He wants black metal. I got some in the stack here. It's all good.
Simon wants me to break out into obscure Canadian tax shelter films. That's what
he does.
Yeah, of course he does. But look, just to wet his palette. Look at Black Roses, baby.
Ooh, embossed or what do you call that? Embossed.
That's embossed. Yeah. What was the gimmicks? It was embossed, lenticular, or shiny. As any comic fans here know, man, the early '90s were hell up for gimmick comics.
Right.
So, but it worked. It worked. Anyways, let's not go down that rabbit trail. Come on.
All right, we're going to stick with death metal a little bit, and we're going to go into some Canadian hyperblast with the early and immortal Cataclysm. This is Sorcery. Also have the Sorcery with Mystical Gate of Reincarnation EP on it. And I've got the Temple of Knowledge as well. I'm a big fan of Sylvain. I can't remember his last name. Starts with an H. Anyway, crazy singer. I saw these guys on the Temple of Knowledge tour with Incantation in a small VFW hall in Bay City, Michigan, to about 50 people. And Sylvain live was just absolutely devastating. Just absolutely crazy. The vocals you hear on the album, he pulls off and he's so animated and just really dove into it. He was such an amazing singer. And once the bass player took over singing, this band just took a dump, man. They just did. I mean, he tried. He just wasn't the same caliber of singer or frontman than Sylvain was. It just wasn't. Was that his name, Sylvain? Am I saying it wrong? It's French, so I'm sure I'm butchering it. Yeah, Sylvain Howd. That's right. Elder vocals. Hell yeah, man. Apparently the dude is kind of had a screw loose and he's homeless for a while. It's just a bummer to hear such a talented, amazing. Why didn't he get into another band? And why didn't he join Cryptopsy? Why? That would have been a cool crossover for sure. But this early, super fast, kind of crazy, brutal, death grind from Canada with an amazing singer. Check out the first EP and first 2 full-length albums. They're great. Temple of Knowledge just is production's a little rough, but it's still really well done music. Yeah, Victims of This Fallen World is a shit album. Holy crap, what a terrible record. All right.
I love how you said it started with H, but really, if it's French, you should say Ash. Just saying.
Well, you know.
Bonjour tout le monde.
Jean-Pierre.
Je pense que c'est Jacques. Come on in, Max. I'm just about to talk about this Chudley band. Are you all right, dude?
Everybody's been screaming about it for an hour. Yeah.
What, for Slaughter?
Yeah.
Hold on a sec. Did you hurt your foot? Don't show weakness. Show strength. Yeah. Look, do you like this album, Slaughter?
Yes.
Oh, no, you don't. You don't know this album, do you, Strapato? Yeah. No. So, Max, we'll say hello, or do you want to talk about Strapato?
Hi.
Slaughter. Or
What's up,
whatever.
Max?
Hi.
You just want... No, don't do that. Don't do that.
No, he's gonna pull out the Oblivion album.
Yeah. I don't have Oblivion. Do we have Oblivion? No, we don't have Oblivion. I tell you before. So Slaughter. Okay, everyone's been screaming. It doesn't need much of an introduction. All right, dude. I love you. You take care. All right. Stay in school and don't do drugs. Right. But before I do that, because it's an album I don't have, and I'm wondering if anyone out there has it, because I really want it. Eudoxus. Do you remember Eudoxus from Metal Power Hour?
I don't.
Anyone out there, please, tonight, write this down, everyone. Look up Eudoxus for Metal Fix. They were a band from Montreal. It is insanity. It's insanity, right? Showing the kids. Yeah, well, you try to get them young.
It
right?
will be eventually.
Yeah. It'll be, yeah. He's going to. Does Metal T have Eudoxus? God damn.
See, I told you. All you got to do, if we got to get you down, smuggle you into the country, take you down to Metal T's place, and let you pilfer his collection. It'll probably make us all.
Yeah.
A little tear will drip out.
I can't believe he's such a villain. He's such a villain. Oh, I'm sorry, Jay. You mentioned Eudoxus earlier. A Metal Fix video. It's one of those videos where it's just, it's just like you have such deep respect for it because they're going for it all the way. But it's absurd. And the singer looks like my friend's mother. Just even funnier, but that's an aside. But anyways, I feel like I've stolen Slaughter's thunder. Right? But who doesn't know about this, right? You're like, if you, as the kids say, if you know, you know.
A couple of members of that band, after that passed on, started an industrial metal band called Inner Thought that came out on Inner Thought or on Utopian Vision Music.
It is 12:30 at night here, and you guys are still up. Guys, I'm sorry. The papooses, the bambinos are out. Did you?
Oh, it's all good.
Hold on a sec. Now, Piper, do you know Slaughter? No? Okay, just checking. She only
likes the demo.
Yeah. First album only. She likes the Katy Perry's and who's that one that I got a crush on now with the wig? That Sabrina Carpenter. What a sex pot! What a sex pot!
Never heard of.
Well, let me tell you something. More for me.
Yep.
Was she the one who just got like filmed in a church and the priest got fired or something?
I don't know.
For letting her film in a church.
I don't know either. But I would let that talent grow.
There was some, She
was fantastic in Girl Meets World, and I'm going to support that artist all the way for women. Anyways, let's carry on.
All right, Alan.
Oh, okay. I almost forgot about this one. So we will go with this. Got to get into the demo tapes a bit here. I have this digital, so I'm going to have to pull up a picture from Metal Archives. Band only did one demo tape in 1984, but it's a really good one. The band is named, well, here, let's wait for it. Get this up. Band is named Crimson Tiger. And there's their mascot.
That looks like tag art at a tattoo shop.
Yeah.
Kind of does. This isn't shaped
next to the
right.
Tasmanian devil holding the beer. That one. Yeah.
This isn't shaped right to be the cover of like a cassette demo, so I'm not sure what this image is coming from, to be honest. But regardless, yep, there you go. Tony the Tiger, eat your heart out.
I was going to say Prince of Persia and Tony the Tiger, the best of both worlds. That is a tattoo that you could get and not even be like ironic. I'd be like, dude, it's Crimson Tiger, man. What are you new? Get a clue, as Dave Ellefson once said. All right.
But it's an Ontario band. They've spelled Tiger incorrectly. They've gone with the kind of Tigers of Pantang spelling, and there's definitely a new wave of British heavy metal kind of vibe going on in the tracks here. But it is an excellent demo. It's among my favorite demos from that era, from both the US and Canada. 4 tracks. The real killer is the closer, Tokyo Nights. It's got this real kind of slightly eerie vibe to it. It's hard to describe, but yeah, it just gets this kind of very kind of gloomy, unsettling aura. It's nothing about the music that's doing it necessarily. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward, Iron Maiden kind of worship band, like a lot of these we've talked about tonight are. But somehow in that song, it's a little bit slow. The vocals are a little bit high. They have just this little particular guitar line, and it just makes it feel like something very, very creepy is going on here. Something is really, really wrong. But yeah, fantastic little demo tape. Has never gotten the anthology treatment or anything like that. It's just another one of those things that, you live in the Colosseum long enough and you go places. And one of those places is obsessing over the Crimson Tiger demo from 1984.
You see this man right there with the glasses? That's Uncle Alan. And let me tell you something about Uncle Alan. He might be the reason why you're not going to get any Christmas presents this year. Dada has to find Crimson Tiger.
If you find Crimson Tiger, please let me know. Yes. You need to go out and find the Crimson Tigers, and they got some unreleased stuff. They need to be on Cult Metal Classics. They need to be on No Remorse or High Roller.
It looks like it should be something that's like hand painted on like an elementary school gym. Like, we are the Crimson Tigers.
It would be a great intermediate school kind of mascot. Absolutely. Yep.
Sadly, it looks like something I would draw. Get your
hey,
ass
Alan,
to bed.
is this Eric asked someone better have pulled maple metal. Is that the thing with the moose on it?
Yes.
Yeah, moose molten metal. Yep.
Yeah, not molten moose metal if you're in Hamilton.
No, not that. Nope.
Yeah, Alan pulled it earlier, Eric.
Look at Eric there, man. You see how muscly he is now?
He is.
He's good.
Swole. Swole is the goal.
He's looking good. I'm glad my daughter's out of here before Eric shows up. Daddy fetish.
But yeah, I was mentioning Inner Thought, and the lineup of that is what the heck am I doing here? Sadzik is the guy's name. Bobby Sadzik. He was in Slaughter as well. That was his industrial metal thing. Anyway, yeah, Simon wants some black metal. Well, let's do some old school, old dude.
Sorry,
black
Marty.
metal.
Noise says that maybe Maple Metal is a different comp. No, we didn't talk about that one. Okay, no, sorry. Yeah, we covered the moose, not the maple.
Right on.
Thanks, Noise.
SDG Sorcier de Glace. I don't know how you say that.
Moi, je parle français.
Sorcier de Glace.
I love how they have the little snowflake design.
Yeah.
That's nice. I like that. Sweet.
This is the Snowland reissue. It's got the original mix of the original release of Snowland, and then the re-recorded version of it on the other record. Sean Count Blagareth put this out on his Celestial Oak Productions label back. It's been re-released again on a different label recently, but this is one of those long-running. I think these guys are Quebec, aren't they?
Well, judging by those coniferous trees, I feel that was where Le Studio once sat, where Rush did their videos.
Ah, there we go. But yeah, this is a long-running Canadian black metal band. I think they are in the Quebec area, and they just put out really solid. They're not breaking any ground, but they're just really solid, old schoolish kind of black metal. It's good. It doesn't sound like the Quebecois black metal stuff like Fortress. It doesn't sound like that type of stuff, but it's just more old school, traditional black metal. They've been around forever. They put out a good handful of albums, and they're all really solid. Again, if you're collector scum, check out one. You'll probably end up with all of them because they're all really good. Yeah. Phillip.
Well, wouldn't be the night if we didn't bring up the knife.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll wait to pee after you talk about this one.
Yeah, I don't want to brag, okay? But dude, all right, the whole band,
Nice.
two Phil, and I normally don't like an autograph on a record, and I like to keep it. But when you get to meet Thor, you think you're Thor. I can't even stand. But I tell you something. This is one of the. I tried to get Metal T into this. I was like, Aaron, man, just listen to this album. Because
for all the bad stuff he likes, you think he'd like that?
No, I think I won him. He got it. Bless his heart. He went through and listened to it, and he really liked it. But I'm going to tell you, Thor has put out some pretty comical things, and they like the dogs at bay and stuff. That's very 70s, very early, and I don't know if anyone really took that seriously. That's for like when you were performing live on solid gold, right? But this is a true old school D&D metal album, and like Ride of the Chariots is so much fun, you know. Like what's the one, Let the Blood Run Red? That's absolutely Thunder on the Tundra.
Yep.
There's thunder.
There's
thunder giants
on the tundra.
There's giants, and that's a giant. The gang vocals singing giants across the land. So anyone out there that like listens to me, please. I got the Black Roses soundtrack. I just got that there. Of course I do. I'm a Canadian. But yeah, Thor, please, guys. All those who oppose the Metal Avenger. You're going to get copyright strike, by the way, with all my glorious Thor.
Yeah, I'm sure the Thor people are really going to reach out and try to snuff us out from any money we make from this episode. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Ride of the Chariots, I think, is probably, it's up there in my like top 20 heavy metal songs of all time. It is glorious. Right? So yeah, Thor. If you don't like Thor, I feel bad for you. It makes me feel like I have a lisp every time I say his name. Thor. I'm sorry, but I like Thor.
Aaron's asking, where's Bishop Steel from?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Don't know.
Let's find out real quick, Aaron. Yeah.
While you're looking for Aaron, I got to go use the little boys room. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Because I know the band he's talking about, but I have no idea where they're from. Bishop Steel is from Missouri.
Missouri.
There we are. Okay. All right. I am going to sneak two things in here.
Yeah, we're at that point now where it's like,
yep, starting to get on towards that point. But another scene that we should touch on, Jake, thank you very much. Really appreciate that, man. Let's see. Canada's also had a lot of really good sort of traditional heavy metal bands pop back up in recent years. Part of the whole new wave of traditional heavy metal that's been going on for 20 years now, so it's not exactly new, but whatever. We don't have to get hung up on that. They had one of the first bands that I think I became aware of, and that I feel like started to get a lot of attention. Not one of the first bands on the scene. This isn't Portrait or Enforcer or Cauldron or something. But about a decade after that, a band that started to put the scene a little bit more on the map was Traveler, and they just had a new album come out this year. This one is called Prequel to Madness, which interesting title, and different color scheme. Their first two albums have been very sort of black, blue, monochrome. This one's all the colors. And is very, very good. If anything, they've tightened up their sound a little bit compared to the first two albums and still sound absolutely fantastic. This one's pretty speedy, too. They're picking up velocity as they go. And another one in very much the same vein. Folks asked earlier if we had shown it yet. We hadn't, but we will now. Riot City. Very much, obviously the cover, the logo is meant to invoke a lot of Judas Priest worship. Yeah. But they definitely go for like the faster Judas Priest, not the living after midnight Judas Priest, but
the vocals, man, the vocals,
indeed. But yeah, they're going for the real hellbent for leather and screaming for vengeance style Judas Priest. Both very good bands, both with multiple albums out. Well, heck, we'll just throw one more in here while
thanks, King Snake Jake. Appreciate you.
Smolder too. Now Smolder goes a little bit more in the epic metal direction. This is not particularly fast, but as the cover art tells you, they're really playing up more of the Robert Howard kind of epic heroic themes. Do it really, really well. Sarah, I always mess up her last name. Sarah K from Banger TV does the vocals for them. So this band was Canadian, but now they're kind of international since she's in Finland at this point. But Canada's done a really good job putting out some very solid bands into the new wave of traditional heavy metal genre in recent years. So that'll be my show. Marty, Phillip and I decided that, it's that time where we can sort of start grouping some things to make sure we show what we want to show.
Yeah, because my children are going to be up all night.
Thanks, King Snake Jake. Appreciate you, man. Mm-hmm. And I know we haven't mentioned it in a bit, but moving forward, any super chats, Jeff Wagner from Metal Maniacs, he's an author, and from Radical Research, his house burned down a couple nights ago. So moving forward, any super chats that come in, please just go to the GoFundMe link and send that money to Jeff and his family. They lost everything in the fire, so any help is the GoFundMe's kicking ass. They're gonna need it. They're going to need it.
Absolutely, man. And seriously. And tomorrow, Castillo, when I took a piss, Castillo told me, so we're going to send some money to them too. Got to.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, it could have happened to us just like that. It could have happened to any of us. So seriously, for the contributions and what he's done, come on.
Craziness. Yep. So much stuff. He was there for us when we needed entertainment and knowledge. Let's be there for him. So we can do this.
And it doesn't matter if you got a toonie, you got a loony. Well, you can do it. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
All right. I'm going to group a chunk of stuff here. Still in the Quebecois era, Fortress. I'm going to nail this. Les Hivers de Notre Epoque.
Epoque. Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I could have been French.
Hiver for winter.
This is pretty much the stereotypical Quebec black metal sound. Really driving, kind of repetitious, kind of hypnotic, harsh, solid black metal. They put out quite a few records, all of them pretty good. In this band, Tomb Mold, this is Manor of Infinite Forms. I like the earlier Tomb Mold. Old school death metal. Their newer record is very proggy, which is kind of the nature of the beast. A lot of these more talented, fancy death metal bands are, they're channeling their inner death albums.
Yeah, I think they're trying to stay 1 foot ahead of the very oversaturated old school death metal scene.
100%. 100%. Yep, I totally agree. And
I mean, it'd be great if they made another album like that one, but at the same time, even for Tumult, it would risk getting just lost in the signal at this point.
Yep. And I hate being the guy that bitches about progression. Like, I don't like the prog and death metal, but then I bitch about every band sounds the same. So I'm like it's the Goldilocks thing. This is too cold. This is too warm. Just nothing's just right.
But Thor is just right.
Just right.
Thunder on the tundra.
This is the last album by Weapon, Embers and Revelations. We just covered their second album on the Album Club here not too long ago.
Cool cover, man.
Yeah, cool cover, great band. I want to sit here and say, it's like highly advanced war metal, but it's not. It's better than that. They're really great heavy metal riffs mixed in, but brutal, awesome death metal. Mashrook only put out 3 records. I wish he did more. Then we have Cataclysm. I can't read the damn name. Cataclysm. Basically, this is a advanced version of Demolic. You got the pitch shifted Predator vocals on here. Technical death metal. It's weird. It's twisted. Again, it reminds me of Finland's Demolic. Dark riffs, and you got the gurgling Predator vocals, which I always think that's fun. That's a fun thing. And I can do another couple rounds here.
Oh yeah, we can do one or two more rounds. Yeah, that'll work.
My lord.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I would be a real stick in the mud if I didn't bring up my good old chums. I feel like I'm name dropping tonight, but it's Canadian metal, guys. I'm not trying to be that guy. If you're a Canadian, you just bang into each other and you practically live together. And there's nobody I live together more than Goathorn and Cauldron. These guys are family to me. Family. And Goathorn, a little bit harder. And I think when Jay went on his own with Ian and formed Cauldron, the sound changed, and you either like it or love it. Jay's is another one of those guys that has a unique vocal style that you're either gonna love or hate. But I have nothing but love for him. So much so that if you're a real OG Chromium collector, this is very rare. This is the one. If you buy the vinyl, you're going to get the official Chromium Dioxide Cauldron Canadian metal mini-zine that came with this. Right? So at the time, Earache gave us a lot of money to do this. Right? We had a lot of fun, man.
Awesome.
During this time, this album shoot and cover, I almost killed us all. We were almost gassed to death. Because the lights in the limousine, and Ian's wearing my First Strike shirt there, the lights in the limousine, we couldn't get them to work without starting the car on. So we're inside with this ridiculous limousine
in a closed space. Oh my!
Closed space, and Ian just started vomiting violently, and I was like, "Dude can't handle his liquor, right?" And then everyone was starting to get tired in the car. And we were all starting to follow this.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, we almost died. And that was, you can even see everyone's getting tired. You know, everyone's like, oh, yeah, well, they're too cool for school there, right? You know, but no,
everybody's really sleepy.
Yeah. There's a picture. I have some photos in the background of Ian vomiting and stuff like that. And then the owner of the hangar, because it was the Lush factory, the soap factory. And he came out and he called us fucking idiots, and he's like, you're gonna die, right? So, but anyway, fun times, and I love those guys. But yeah, they went a little bit softer route than what Goathorn did. And I'll go ahead and do it too. Rammer. I don't know if anyone knows Rammer.
I have had Rammer CDs in the past. I don't remember them at all.
Nope.
Yeah, this is fun. This is the co-creator of Chromium Dioxide, the magazine, Dave. This was his band. And yeah, they were great. A bunch of assholes. Like collectively, it was like a Voltron of dickheads. I mean, I love them all individually. It's kind of like the Eagles. All those guys in the band, the Eagles, I like them. Their solo shit. But when they get together as the Eagles, it's like, Jesus Christ, man, I cannot handle this. Right? And that's what Rammer is to me. So check them out.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Alan.
All right. I'll go through a few. Let's see. So this is next to last round. Okay, I'll go through a few singles, but let's see. First off, Jay asked to see Dead Calm get a shout out. So yep, Dead Calm did. I think this was originally like a cassette album from '91, and years later, Arcane Steel out of Greece gave it a CD reissue. I haven't played this in forever, so I don't remember a lot of the details, but I do remember it was quite good. It was one of the better early releases on Arcane Steel, and they dug up a lot of good stuff. Arcane Steel was another label like OPM, that always wanted to dig up the stuff that hadn't really gotten a release before. They weren't trying to reissue stuff. They wanted to find the demo bands and give those demos a proper release for the first time. Or if they band had like a cassette only release, they wanted to get that cassette onto something that would preserve better. So yeah, Dead Calm, cool band, good call, Jay. Let's do a few singles here quickly. This apparently just came out. I'm holding this for a friend.
I've said that a few times. Hey ma.
But yeah, a band called Tales of Medusa. They've been around for close to 20 years now. When they came out, they were trying to do this before Bandcamp. Bands were still doing the FOMO thing. What Tales of Medusa, made a name for themselves on this, where they wanted to release they did a couple of singles here and there, and it was always weird numbers like, well, there's going to be 54 copies, but you cannot buy one from us. We'll only send you one if you're like in the circle. And of course, everybody went fucking nuts. What's the circle? Who is in the circle? How do I get into the circle? Ooh, doing the little pee-pee dance. Got to have a copy of that. I'll be very honest. I did end up hearing some of their stuff. Of course, their whole thing too was like, you can't share it. You must, literally take a blood oath that you'll never put it online. This was like early 2000s when not a lot of stuff was online anyway. Stuff was getting there, but of course, some people put it online. I listened to it.
They didn't take the blood oath.
They did not swear.
They found a loophole in the blood oath.
Yeah, it was the wrong blood type, I guess.
Yeah.
I found the music to be very, very average. It wasn't that it was bad, but it's just like this sounds like a demo level band that needs to remain a demo level band for a little bit longer. So yeah, I was never really sold on Tales of Medusa. They really did seem to be more of a hype thing than anything else. I had no idea they were still around, but apparently this one just came out called War of Giants. And I think this has a little better distribution. This one, it says it's still only 300 copies. So, Christian, you're getting number 233 out of 299 when I send this over to you.
I hope there's a dime bag of weed in that too, please.
it's a little poofy. There.
I'm going to tell you something. Tales of Medusa, nothing can live up to that. If it's average, you can't. If you see something that says Tales of Medusa,
yeah, you better be pretty fucking epic.
Yeah,
they are not very fucking epic.
And to be that like secretive and cultish about it.
Yeah, I'm kind. Everyone buys into that. We all fall for that kind of thing sometimes. I'm relatively gimmick proof when it comes to that kind of hype. You start that bullshit with me, and I'm just immediately unimpressed. I'm just like, play me the fucking music and let's see what you sound like. I don't care what color cassette tape you're making. I don't care what time I'm supposed to be on Bandcamp to order one of the 3 copies, that's going to have your personal snot wiped on the J card. Play the fucking music or shut up and go away. I don't really care. So yeah, Tales of Medusa, they always kind of rubbed me a little bit the wrong way from the get-go.
Well, dude, I was the guy that you like hook, line, and sinker on the back of comics, like the X-ray goggles and the 7-foot.
Yeah.
Sea monkeys.
Sea monkeys. Yeah.
See, I was the guy like in 7th grade when they would take everybody had to go to the pep rally, before like 7th grade football because there's a whole lot riding on that shit. And they're like, okay, everybody get up, and go crazy. And, I'm just kind of looking at the teacher like, why? I mean, not trying to be like ironic or hipster, just genuinely like, why am I supposed to get up and get crazy now? Because it's a pep rally. Okay. For what? The football game. Who's on? Okay. But why are we going crazy for a football game in 7th grade? And meanwhile, there's 500 other kids, losing their fucking minds around me. And I'm just kind of like, why am I supposed to be hyped about this? I don't get it. That's me in a nutshell. Anyway.
Alan is Egon Spangler. He's like, I had part of a slinky, but I straightened it.
There you go.
Aaron's saying this is Alan's origin story.
Before he got bitten by a radioactive librarian.
Yes.
Funnily enough, the guy I'm sending the Tales of Medusa to is a librarian by trade.
Of course he is.
Oh, of course.
He absolutely is. Let's do 2 more singles here quickly. This is a fantastic one. A band called Child, spelled with a Y instead. Light the Night with Ye Morlock on the flip side. I think this is from 86. These songs are so good. This is just the right combination of heavy, but just a little bit classy. These guys could, they could be like Hairspray bands and be like, the next Dokken if they wanted to. But no, these songs actually have, a real pure heavy metal heart to them. They're too heavy for the Dokken crowd, but not heavy enough for the Iron Maiden crowd, which is probably why they never went anywhere. But both songs are fantastic. Really good performances, great vocalist.
You showcased those on one of your shows. Yeah, that's
what
I covered that.
Yeah, have covered it once upon a time. Somebody found the band years later and helped them kind of they had a ton of copies left over. So you can find this very reasonable even now. Apparently they literally were using like an entire Foot Locker full of them. It's like a coffee table or something. So you can still get them, but if you get one of the copies they sold recently, it'll have this not so great looking picture sleeve. The copy, this was not made back in the 80s. This was something that was made 10 years ago when these came out of the woodwork. It also came with a live CD that had like a few demos and a live show so that you can hear a bunch more Child tracks. They were really good. Like that band a lot. And the last single here, another band that I don't think this ever got released originally, but another OPM Records. They dug this band up and gave them a chance to finally get 2 songs out. The band is called Ironhead. Second to none on one side and Double or Nothing on the other side. This is so fucking good. It sounds okay. Imagine like Victor Griffith from Death Row and Pentagram, instead of going to New York and hooking up with and then winding up with Bobby Liebling and doing Pentagram. Imagine if Victor had turned left, made it across the border, and ended up in like with a bunch of guys that were wanting to do like a Motorhead cover band. But Victor shows up with his own unique kind of guitar sound, and they take it all and they punkify it just a tiny little bit. Both of these songs, just absolutely great stuff. High energy, catchy, but good, heavy, fuzzy kind of, that Victor Griffith classic, kind of guitar tone where it just sounds, thick as a brick. This one, half the copies came on black vinyl. But if you're a special kind of sick little monkey like me,
I was just going to drop the sick monkey line.
You also got a copy on clear. You got half the copies were on clear vinyl. And so, of course, I said, why not track down both? So, yeah, you can get either one. But, yeah, this was one that talking to John, one of the 2 guys that ran OPM, he's like, this was one of the bands I was just desperately hoping they had more tracks. I'm just like, do you have any other stuff recorded? We would make a full album for you if you can scare up some more tracks. So like, we have 2. He's like, anything else anywhere? He's like, we got 2 songs. He's like, okay, I guess we're doing it as a single then. It might be the only single that OPM did. I'd have to check their discography. But yeah, they didn't do, most of the stuff they did was LP, but there wasn't enough to put on an LP, but they liked it so much they put it out as a single, and they should have. And thank you to John and Jim from OPM Record. Both these songs, are great.
Croatia, right on. Alan, my children need to have a Christmas morning, and you have to shut up with this shit because I'm telling you now.
Those now look. the child, not very expensive. I don't think the Iron Cross will run you more than a few bucks. So you can absolutely make sure that they both still have some stocking stuffers at the very least.
Maybe I'll give that to them as a gift and say,
one of them can have the black vinyl copy. One of them can have a copy on clear vinyl. Then they can fight because they each wanted the other copy, and it'll be a perfect Christmas.
I did that to my dad on Father's Day when I gave him a Corey Hart tape. I'm like, "Your happy birthday." I was very young, but you don't mess with Corey Hart. All right, Marty, you look a little pale. Have you drank too many Iron Claws tonight? Maybe you need.
No, I'm riding in style with the Iron Claw. That's all right.
We got one round after this, so
I think we need anyone get on some. Alan, how do you do this sober? I can't imagine.
I thought I tried doing it sober for a while. I'm not like wasted drunk, but I have ADHD apparently, and I have a hard time focusing if I don't have a couple drinks. It's weird.
Dude, I did that show that on shrooms, and it's rough, right? But I can't imagine doing this nonsense sober.
It's all good. I've done it. It's fine. It's fine. It can be done.
What can I say?
Alan's,
I'm special.
Alan's an amazing person. Yeah,
you're the professor.
He's gonna live forever too, which is great for him.
Also, everyone, I'd like to apologize because I know a lot of people came here to see me get lotto, and I you see how many beers I've been drinking, dude.
You're like the Samantha Fox of Labrador.
Dude, I can drink wizards, man. I can drink wizards. And I do not apologize for how drunk I was on Dreadful Minutes show, even though I didn't know I was on the Dreadful Minutes show. I might as well have been on 60 Minutes. But yeah, I like to party unapologetically, but I'm trying to keep it PG-13 tonight because my mom is watching. So I hate that I didn't slice my arm open and bleed like I did on Gas Masks and Heart.
That was a classic. Yeah. Yeah,
which he was classy enough to keep me from. He didn't show it. Oh, God damn, that was blotto. That it was. And then I started taking the blood and putting it across my face. I had forgotten about that until I woke up with blood across my face like Polo Ram. And that's when you're like, hey, man, get a hold of yourself. Right? But anyways, we made memories, and that's all that counts in this world.
Right on. All right, so we got two more, right? This one and one more?
You got this one, and then, we'll do our final round. I've got one left. I've been saving.
All right, people have been asking about this.
If you steal it, I'll kill you.
Well, is it Cryptopsy?
No, it's not Cryptopsy.
Okay. And,
it was a pretty empty thread.
I got to say, Blasphemy Made Flesh, so None So Vile. Obviously, these are the two. You got Lord Worm on vocals, brutal technical death metal from Canada. People just crap their pants about this. After Lord Worm left, they got Mike DeSalvo. I interviewed this guy for Maniacs back in the day. Super nice dude. I saw him live a couple times. They toured with Gorguts during the Obscura tour. Nice guy. I got to tell you, I do like these two albums quite a bit. But this is a band that I prefer Cataclysm. I like Cryptopsy, but I don't love Cryptopsy. And I really think that they're a little overrated. They have an amazing Flo Mornier, however you say his name. Amazing drummer. You know, Lord Worm's vocals are super sick. I do like these records, but they couldn't do anything past their first two records. They just were never that good again. You know, I don't know. I could be wrong. I've only checked a few of the newer things here and there, and it's okay. It just doesn't do anything for me. I don't know. But this early stuff is classic. I'm not going to take that away from them. It's really good. Absolutely sick vocals. You know, Lord Worm, he'd eat the worms on stage and all that shit. Shit like that you got to do if you're a front man in death metal to set yourself apart from everybody else that sounds just like you. Yeah. Yeah, Lord Worm and Cataclysm, that would have been a cool combination for sure. Next up, another brutal death metal band from Canada. We got Gorlust, Reign of Lunacy. Super ridiculous album cover.
Okay. Haven't seen that one before.
Yeah, it's always been a classically ridiculous album cover. And this came out. What year did this come out? Even got the maple leaf.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, that's absurd. The blood would leak out. I mean, it would never fill up.
Oh, you know, it did. It leaked out into the shape of a perfect pentagram right underneath that piano, by the way.
Well, that's the thing. And that's exactly how I felt when my mother made me do piano lessons. I was like, oh, I will never thank you for this. I know you say I will, but I won't.
And yet they went with a plain font instead of a logo.
Yep.
That's the thing that's really interesting with me looking at it. It's just like,
no, even on the CD, it's just a font.
And there's a big spot on the cover right to the left where it's just dying to have like some kind of big pointy.
Oh, there's the logo. There it is.
That was
underneath the text.
That arrived way too late.
So they had a logo but didn't put it on the cover. Now it's even worse. I agree with
it's worse.
Yeah.
I don't think you can say worse because that looks like absolute perfection.
This is an album I haven't listened to in a while, to be honest, but it came out during a time where I was so burnt out on brutal death metal. But this thing, the vocalist...
That's the one to win you back.
No, this one surprised me because it's really good. The vocalist isn't the low...
that's fair.
These like mid-range, really... This is aggressive, slightly hints at technicality. Really well done, man. It's a really good... Oh, Noise Spectrum says Gorelust Reunited. I think this is the only album, too, isn't it? Noise Spectrum, or am I wrong?
Well, that's a Chandelier Enthusiast.
There was one other album much later, apparently.
Chandelier Enthusiast. But check this out. This is actually a surprisingly great record. Next up, people are talking about Wilt. I put this record out when it came out.
This is a good record.
Their first debut album, Moving Monoliths.
It looks like Prince Edward Island.
These guys are from Calgary. I could be wrong. This is killer artwork. I was really super psyched with the artist. This is kind of doomy black metal. It's slower black metal, real emotional, good stuff, good band. Yep, we do those at the end. You can't talk about Canada without talking about Heavy Devi. You got Strapping Young Lad. I would have pulled City, but I have a promo of it. And it's in the box over there. And City is the best Strapping Young Lad album. It just is. It's a tantrum, temper tantrum made into music. I love it. This is a good record too. I like Strapping Young Lad. I liked Devin's, how he attacked and insulted the crowd, and just so good. Gene Hoglan on vocals, on drums. Sorry. It's just the Iron Claws are starting to creep in a little bit.
The blue.
We talked about this band earlier, Chevy.
All right.
The Electric Sleep, basically a singer that sounds exactly like Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, it's ridiculous. In fact, he might be a little more consistent than Ozzy in the later days. But Electric Sleep, decent rock stonery type album, and I'll save the last two for my last round. Phillip.
Okay.
Which might be the pick of the night? Oh, the Gorelust? Oh, yeah. Right on.
Apparently there's a piano on their second album, too.
I'm trying to go through all the exciters and stuff that we already crawled. Reckless.
There you go.
Shit. And
looks like that guy just came out of a Steeler album cover with his ripped up shirt there.
Well, speaking of, do you remember earlier, way back, Todd Pylon is in Reckless. We're back to old Todd Pylon.
What band was he in? What band was Todd Pylon in?
Todd Pylon was in goddamn Witchkiller, bro.
Oh, that's right, Witchkiller, eh? Yeah.
Fucking guy. I'm going to tell you right now, Reckless, there was an interview, and it's the most Canadian thing I've ever seen. It's total hoser fest. But I really, I think you traded this for, was it Reckless? Okay. But I can't recommend it. The videos, hot and ready, so good. Write that down, kids. Write it down. I'm going to tell you right now. Check it out.
I'm hot and ready.
You're going to hot. So Reckless. They had a first album, which I do have, but that's their masterpiece.
Aquanet at its finest.
Yeah.
Right on, Glenn.
How can you talk about metal without
Metal Queen right there?
Metal Queen. You know what? This is actually the first and well, not the first, but the second and the third albums are actually really good. Call of the Wild. I have no problems with Lee Aaron, and when she went jazzy, that's really what upset me. But that's Canadian. You cut your teeth on that. You get that in the mail when you were a kid, man. And
the Canadian Doro. There you go.
Exactly.
There it is.
There's nothing to it. I can't believe this label hasn't been brought up tonight, and that's Bonsai.
Oh, no shit.
I thought of it real early, and yeah,
there it is.
We never showed anything on Bonsai.
Michael Mies, like I remember Martin Popoff saying that, in one of his books, he was like, as a collector, as a kid, you would always be disappointed when you got a copy of the record and it was Bonsai. And isn't it funny now that like Bonsai has, you can't even call it cult status. People want the Bonsai presses.
Yep.
Right. So, but
would you consider Martin Popoff to be a national treasure, or how is Martin Popoff seen in the eyes of a veteran metal person like yourself?
He is so sweet, so kind, and just hilarious. Just he's what you think a Canadian is.
Yeah,
right.
We'd love to have him on the channel, but he's so entrenched in the sea of tranquility. Who has like 80,000 subscribers.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he'd be slumming with us. But
and
we have a much better version anyway with Professor Steele. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
You got the poor man's version of.
No, we don't. We've got the end boss of. We got the real deal.
I have always despised Martin's taste in music.
Yeah.
A different era though. You have to understand he comes from a different. Like that's a guy who's probably going to give Goddo and Santa's record very high, but then he will give Witchkiller a 3 or a 4.
Yep.
And that's
issue with Martin. Yep.
He is of a different era, and he understands, and he's a fantastic writer. But yeah, if you're going to compare Martin, I love how Professor Steele now is like the anti-Martin Popoff. Well. And as a Canadian, I guess I'm supposed to go for Marty, but I ain't going for Martin Popoff. Alan's my little.
That's right.
Face off him right now. I'd like to grab his diggy bird.
Wouldn't we all? Wouldn't we all?
I'd like to grab that diggy bird. God love you. Come over here. Sit on Pop's lap. I give you a pipsy.
We held it together for almost 3 hours, and now we have gone near.
Hey, Jay, we've reached out to Ian. Ian said he'd be on, but it's been kind of hard to nail him down. He's a busy guy.
Yeah, so we're going to circle back to him now that the calendar's opening up a little bit.
All right. Are we going to go one more round, or is this it?
This is your last chance.
This is your last chance. Yeah, this is okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Canada, Killer Dwarfs. I really think, Up with Anthrax, probably my spirit animal. I think that to me, the Killer Dwarfs and Anthrax could live on an island in harmony, and we would live. We have the sense of humor. This band was just so much fun back in the day, and if you didn't see them live, I pity you. You remember they were on the Seventh Son tour in Canada? You don't? Anyone out there? Please. Hello, is this on? Yeah, Killer Dwarf. No love for Killer Dwarfs?
I have no Killer Dwarves. I saw them on the Power Hour. Thought they were fun, but I never.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think my sister had some of their records. So
really,
fuck you, Alan. Fuck you. All right. I know what you're doing right there. I know what you're doing.
No, I'm just saying I don't have them because she had them.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to do two little obscure ones. Shire, produced by Dokken.
Nice.
Oh, there you go.
You think I'm going to leave Fred's records?
So let me ask you this: is that Tawny Katane's legs?
It's always Tawny Katane.
It's always Tawny Katane's legs, like on the Rat EP.
Tawny Katane, Monique Gabrielle, and who's the other one? Oh, geez. Anyways, not important. And this Stidnex. This is a shit. It's I think the guy that was in. Does anyone know this?
No.
Oh,
I have heard it, but it's been a long time.
Yeah. Hold on. I got a rock piss. I'm bursting. Hold on. Oh,
Alan's up next. All right, Alan, what you got?
Okay.
A lot of love for Professor Steele tonight. I got to say, cheers to Alan. He's the best co-host a person could hope to have.
It.
Cheers, cheers, cheers to the man, the professor.
I do appreciate it. I'll save that little tidbit till Phil comes back, because that one's for him. Last one. I've talked about this record before, so we won't belabor the point. But one of the really fantastic independent Canadian releases from the 80s is the Solar Eagle EP.
Have you shown that before? It looks familiar.
I have. Yep. I absolutely have. The vocals give John Cirrus a run for his money in terms of just being higher than high. The music has kind of a similar vibe to it also. They are very much going for this, outer space with the focus on the outer part of that phrase. Pretty heavy. Each song is pretty distinct from the others. It's not just full out, speed metal the way Agent Steel was. These songs, are a little bit more varied, but really heavy stuff, very original sounding. Just very cool. It is kind of just like, take the quirkiness of Voivod and put it in an Agent Steel kind of template, and you're starting to get there. This is another one that it used to be super expensive. Enough copies
it was
finally have finally leaked out. One of the band members showed up at a record show apparently in London around 2014 or so and had a box of copies. So now you can get it for maybe a couple of $100 now without too much trouble. What's Aaron up to here?
Rush was like a poor man's Solar Eagle.
Rush wishes they were Solar Eagle. No, they don't. But this also did get a nice reissue about 10 years ago, and I think that was a Cult Metal Classics, and it includes the demo also, and the demo tracks are amazingly good, very much in the same vein. So if you don't want to pay a couple, $100 or $200 for the old original EP, look for the reissue. You get more songs. They're exactly the same style. This is one of those just crazy, you have to hear it kind of records.
Yeah,
the fact that it's really just on a little independent, thing. And it sounds really good. The production's fine on it. It's not like it's recorded in a basement or something. It actually.
Why would they go with a yellow label with a blue color palette on the cover? It's so stupid. Shit like that makes me fucking.
Well, man, it's the Buffalo Sabres colors, man. What, you got a problem with that?
It's ridiculous.
But anyway, in closing, sorry, go ahead, Phillip. You have
no. I was just going to say that I was so distraught tonight when I couldn't find my Solar Eagle and DDT. There's somewhere in the mess, but I drink, and when I party, I don't remember where I put things back.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned DDT or Crypt. There's lots of other good ones to bring up. But last thing I have to close with, and because you mentioned it's tying the the Witchkiller back to the Reckless there. When I was putting the Child away, turns out one of the guys from Child was in Harlot, who we saw back on our Moose Molten Metal Volume 2 compilation. But, and this is kind of spooky, he was also in a band I've never heard of before, but the band was called Slash Puppet.
Slash Puppet? Oh, wow.
Now it's sinking in with Phillip here, the puppet master himself. There was a Canadian band called Slash Puppet, and it featured.
I don't like that title.
One of these fellows.
Can you imagine how disappointed the person that got that caricature pic down by the beach when he got Child?
What band meeting are you at where you all come to the consensus that Slash Puppet is indeed the best name on that yellow legal pad paper of band name ideas? Was the best one, guys. Slash Puppet is at the top. Yeah.
Hold on to your shit. Tell me what you think of this. We're looking for a new direction and something that's going to really bring in the fans and get the labels. Slash Puppet.
Solar Eagle and Kick-Ass.
It's like if Guns N' Roses and Metallica meet Slash Puppet. I figured it out. There you go. You're welcome. I'm done.
My God, so stupid. Too many moose heads were tipped at that meeting, eh?
Welcome to the jungle, eh?
Alan, you are the most hydrated human I've ever seen, because that's the same can. I have slaughtered so many moose heads, sir.
Whatever I drink basically one thing per episode. Yeah,
me too.
I never really have a second.
Iron Claw.
I can't believe it, guys. I'm starting to really think I have a problem.
Iron Gypsy's another one we haven't talked about tonight.
Oh, you know what? This show could go on. There's so many I didn't get.
Dude, we could do a part 2. We just did a part 2 of Sweden.
I don't want to. I don't want to do it on my own because I really want that Darcy son of a bitch.
Get Darcy on here. Yeah.
Oh, if we do a part 2, we will definitely bring in some other folks to get their perspectives.
So well spoken. He's not an alcoholic. That to me represents Canada. You're talking to this guy who's like on the outskirts of the woods. Of
he's an islander. He's a Jamaica of Canada. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, my mother would be so proud of Darcy." She'd be like, "Now that's a nice boy."
You're right. Every now and then, Darcy does swear, and it always feels wrong.
Yeah, I can totally imagine.
It feels like when Dad's angry.
I feel if I ever go ahead.
Oh, he'll have the 36-minute video going through creator stuff, and there'll be like that one point about 23 minutes in, which is like, this album is just a goddamn masterpiece. And so it's like, Darcy, really,
Mr. Darcy,
Darcy's like, wow.
You take off your top hat and lower your monocle.
Yeah, you're like working in the lab, and like the test tube slips out of my fingers. It's just like,
here you go, Phil.
Funkaholic. That's the new one. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward.
I thought you said Funko-holic, like the little dolls.
Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. I ain't touching that shit. Future landfills. I will say though, if I ever go try to be business savvy and do a Patreon, anyone that signs on is going to get this message that I recorded from my mother, which is the greatest. Because my mother is a very sweet lady. She's like Rebecca of the Sunnybrook farm, all right? She leaves a message on my phone. It's like, Phillip, don't ever call me Phil. You call my house if I'm down there and you ask for Phil.
We learned that lesson the first time we were on the show.
So anyways,
I'll call you Phil. I'm not scared.
Did I? Yeah. Did I tell you about?
Be.
Did I tell you about the answering machine message though?
No.
It's up there with my interview with Joey Belladonna. My mom calls me, Phillip, watch the show with your dad. My goodness, you are talented, and you make us laugh. But please, would you please stop taking the Lord's name in vain? Oh God, man, so funny.
All right, well, I got my Are you done, Alan? Did you get your stuff?
Wrap this on up, Marty. And if you don't show Blasphemy, Simon is going to have an aneurysm.
I am not showing Blasphemy. I think that band is overrated. Oh, I said it. All right, we're going to show instead Mal Havoc, Premeditated Murder.
Oh my God! Look at that anus.
Yeah, a little red agitated.
That
anus.
is one stale jelly donut.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get a colonoscopy, boys, please.
This is industrial metal. It's not the best you've ever heard, but it's solid. It's catchy. It's good. There's some decent electronics on it, but this is just paving the way for this. I love this record. This is my favorite Frontline Assembly album. This is Caustic Grip, their most aggressive record. Bill Lieb from this band started out in Skinny Puppy in the early days. He left and started Frontline Assembly. They've got a shit ton of records. It's all really solid industrial, but this is my favorite. Caustic Grip. It's the most aggressive, fast. Really, I love putting this stuff in the car and turning it up. It's just the purity of electronics. I don't know. There's just something to it. It just hits just right in the car for some reason. But there it is. That's my end. I had to get the Vancouver electronic ones out there. What's that?
Yeah, I'll tell you what that is. That's goddamn metal theologian sticking it to me.
What is that he's showing you?
You dogs.
It's like a hostage pick.
I'm going to tell you, last time when I was on that show, I was blasting.
Send him a clip of it, Aaron, to prove that it's still alive.
Yeah, exactly. He's got the newspaper on it. Yeah, I was blasting you, Marty, on I love blasting other people on other channels, and I gave you a good tongue. Apparently, I don't even know what I said. Did I say?
Oh, you said all kinds of bad things about me and Alan on that show. I'm just like, whatever, man. I know it's coming from a place of love, so I can let it slide every time. But
Marty's the only guy that I will when I'm out by the fire and I'm drunk and alone.
Every time that Chromie FaceTimes me, I know he's drunk.
2 in the morning.
To say.
2 in the
Yep,
morning,
2 in the morning.
Right? I was like having a heart to heart. It's like when you like call your ex-girlfriend. It's like, I don't know why it didn't work out.
It's not you, it's me.
I made some mistakes. That's what you and I are. But yeah, so but Aaron is really a horrible person.
He is the villain. He is a traditional cartoon villain in this whole thing. He needs to have an arc on Chromium Dioxide, I think. He needs to be a villain. You need to get him up there with your humongous budget. You need to fly him in and shoot some content with him.
Yeah, there's a couple of times now that like I've really been he's like the master circumciser. He really he really is sticking it to me. And I gotta tell you, I find it at this point in my life, 11 moose heads in, I'm in a vulnerable place. I don't need this. I don't need this.
But see, you gotta be real careful about this kind of thing, Phil, because when you get in a dick measuring contest with an American, we're using inches, not centimeters, buddy.
Oh, that's right.
That's not going to work out well.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Aaron's, you've got the metric system working against you. It's in Aaron's favor.
Don't even get me started on that.
Phillip, you know what?
What?
We love you, my friend.
Is this not the most sober I've ever been on a show?
No, you usually behave on heavy metallurgy. It's good. Oh, yeah. It's good.
On Rick's show or gas masks, Hey, fuck Rick, by the way. Fuck that guy. No, I love it. I want to be on a Australian time zone show. I want to be on Explosive Action, and I'm going to start demanding it.
Well, dude, we can get you on with Simon. That'd be fun. It'd be fun. And now that you have a reasonable schedule, we can maybe do a bit more if you're available. That'd be great.
I would. We have an album club. I'm going to attack the album club soon.
Okay.
And
that's a good idea.
I ain't saying anything, but we're gonna have some. We're gonna have some fucking laughs.
Yes, we are. Always do. And I gotta say once again, you are the best chat on YouTube, on Metal YouTube. Thank you, everybody, you guys and girls. If there are any out there, rule so much. Thank you so much. Yes. There's always a few lurking. They're scared of all this. I
don't know. Folks like Courtney jump in all the time. So
yep.
It's a lot of big dick energy, centimeters and inches.
Yep.
Yeah. And Phillip, you will be. Make sure you check Eric's comment here. So apparently Aaron's. Eric is putting Adam into his Aaron into his. Into the same situation that you have.
Both of them are so well-rounded.
Aaron has fallen from grace. He's fallen from... I used to love the Metal Theologian episodes when he wasn't talking about rap. Oh, my God. But that's all right. I still love you, Aaron.
No, he is. He does it. He does it to smite me because he knows that I'm such an OG rap guy, too. What is life? Life's too short. Play them bitches like them's a sport. Right there.
But anyway,
yes,
everybody go check out. Yep, go check out Let's Talk Metal. Every Tuesday you get a new episode from the professor for sure.
We'll check out Exciter this week.
Go check out Chromium Dioxide Radio, for God's sakes.
Try it on.
This is the best damn channel on the internet. I don't give a shit what anybody says. He has put so much love, sweat, and blood into his show. Smartest scripts on the YouTube, and he knows what he's talking about when it comes to metal. So go check that out for sure.
Try it on, do a little twirl. Come on now, guys,
yeah,
you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
And again, heavy metal.
Got a few dollars to if you got a few dollars to spare this weekend, please consider going over to the GoFundMe account in the show notes and help Jeff Wagner and his wife out. They've got to basically start over from square one.
I love that guy so much, and I'm absolutely gutted what happened to them. Their house, I cut you off, Alan. I'm sorry. I'm a little buzzed at this point, but their house burned down.
Yeah. It's a total loss. They're going to, they'll get back on their feet. They are both safe. Most of their pets were saved, but they could definitely use the help right now. Jeff's done so much for the heavy metal and prog communities over the years that if you've enjoyed his content on Maniacs, Radical Research, or any of the books he's written on Peter Steele, Fate's Warning, et cetera, yeah, please consider giving a few dollars, whatever you can, to their GoFundMe to help them kind of basically begin again.
Well,
Yep.
I'm not serious about much. I don't think I need to tell anyone that. But yeah, seriously, let's make this community. Let's fix this because in whatever way we can.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's so goddamn horrible, sad, and it hits home again. It hits home because I was frightened, man. I really was terrified.
We were terrified for you. I saw that video. I'm like, holy fuck. In fact, as soon as I watched it, I'm texting you like, what is going on? Are you okay? Is everybody okay?
Oh, man, dude. It was. So, I mean, you know, there's so many factors in your life and everything. But, I mean, Christ almighty, guys, just donate whatever you got. You know what I mean? Yeah. Help them out because there's been hours of joy and pleasure, you know. So, we're the defenders of the faith.
Yep, I gotta say, Jeff Wagner is the guy that gave me a shot when no one probably ever would have. I learned a lot with writing.
He discovered you in Schwab's drugstores. This tall glass of water.
Yep, he's a mentor, and as it turns out, he's an amazing dude. And it crushes my fucking soul that they're having to endure this garbage. It's hot fucking garbage for sure. But anyway. We love you all. Cheers. You're a great audience as always. And Phillip.
Check out Eudoxus. Fuck you, Aaron. Get up, theologian.
Alan, as always, you're the best. And we will be back next week. We have a Cloven Hoof Dominator on the album club. We'll be talking about that for roughly an hour and a half. Huh?
Yep.
It's a good album. First time I've ever heard that band, and I'm really impressed with it. There's shit coming. I keep saying it, but I've got an album, or I've got a label spotlight I'm going to do on Head Split Records. I'm going to be covering the new Halloween Live LP review. There's reviews coming. Shit's been busy. It just is. And there's only been a couple hundred views per review, so I'm trying to get re-fired up, reinvigorated. So we're coming at you. Cheers, everyone. We'll see you next week.
And one other final thing, if you don't mind.
Yep.
Pa, look at me. I am 2 more wizards away from being embarrassing again.
Well, we're going to get offline and talk in the dugout, and you all have to imagine what we're talking about.
In the green room.
Yeah.
Everybody take care and have a good weekend. Have a good Thanksgiving in the United States, and we'll see you We'll see you on Black Friday.
Hell yeah. We'll be here.